Sandra all the time is here with the cold hard truth. She's the ears and the eyes for me and you. Every day, everyone want to hear from Sandra. And every time on the air, she's getting better. Tell your sister, tell your brother, tell your mama, to call Sandra in the morning and in the evening. They always calling Sandra. And when they start fighting, they calling Sandra. And
That's right, folks. Everyone is telling their mama about the cold hard truth. Welcome to another episode with more truth-telling, more problem-solving, and of course, more tea spilling than ever before. Sit back, students, grab your tea and turn up the volume because class is now in session. Call in at 936-2626 because your voice matters. Share your opinion on issues that matter the most to you. Good morning, K-Man. How are you guys doing? Happy Thursday.
I just didn't want to deal with that nonsense.
Good morning.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Fighting a cold.
You need a cold?
No, I'm fighting a cold. It's like
fighting
mine went away. I had it over the break.
Mm-hmm.
Went away. Now it's back. So
it didn't really go away. I hate when that happens.
Yeah, but
Mine's
it's different.
lingering,
Is it? Yeah, no, mine's like chesty now.
Yeah.
Are you have a cough and stuff?
I have a cough.
Yeah, it's like all the kids have had it recently too, and now we're all getting it
again.
I know. Never ends.
Yeah, especially when you have kids because they are.
Oh yeah, I never used to get
walking
sick. Petri dish.
Petri dish.
Yeah.
And
walking cruise ship.
Miles is in a camp as well.
Well, that's the thing, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait, that YMCA camp is awesome.
Now you're okay.
Well, shout out to them because they are very well organized.
Those camps,
and he's having a blast.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
All right.
Big news. I have some important news for you.
Interesting news.
It's Blake and Aaron's Spilling the Tea with Sandy.
K-Man's top news headlines of the day from CMR.
Hey, Sandy, good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, Blake and Aaron. How are you guys doing today?
Good. What do you got for us?
All right. It was kind of a slow news day in a way.
All right. Well, thanks for chatting with you. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, well, the police did finally confirm what we reported the day before, which was that a man was shot in the head.
Hey.
Yeah. So police said that they're investigating after a man was shot in the back of the head near Liberty Lane in Georgetown.
Jeez.
Reports came in shortly after 11 p.m. on Tuesday evening of a report that a man was currently outside of a business on Eastern Avenue near School Road needing some assistance. When officers attended the scene and observed that the man had a gunshot wound to the back of the head, emergency services attended the location as well. I know, pretty wild. He was transported to the hospital by ambulance, treated for what appears to be non-life-threatening injuries. That's the most
Very
shocking
lucky.
part of this story. Very, very lucky. My sources say basically he got grazed by the bullet.
See, liberty, liberty, liberty.
So
Liberty.
Liberty,
very,
liberty.
very fortunate person at this time.
Liberty's lucky.
Yeah.
Liberty Lane.
So,
Wow. And so no other details though, like what was the motive? Nothing. Like
nothing.
Was
That
he interviewed?
nothing that I can say on air.
I see.
Okay.
I can tell you some off the air, so Aaron.
Like what's on the Marl
Yeah.
Road?
Yes, this is the secondary mile road, which is so secretive.
Does this have
Yeah.
anything to do with the gangs or anything? Is this payback or something? Could be,
Like
maybe
I
not.
said, this one is a little bit undercover.
All right.
I see.
We'll kiki
So-
later.
Yes. We'll see you later.
Kiki, do you love me?
So, yeah, that's a hot mess. So yesterday, CMR investigators were on the case of an alleged bigamy matter.
Yeah.
You guys are going to be shocked by this. We're actually going to update our listeners because there's quite a bit more to this story. But basically, we have bust this case wide open of a Filipino woman who decided to have two husbands, one in the Philippines and one in the Cayman Islands, without first getting an annulment from the one in the Philippines. And that would be illegal. And it's an offense called bigamy, which carries up to 5 years imprisonment.
What?
So anybody else who's thinking about doing this, you should be forewarned. It's not a good idea.
Wow.
Mhm. Yep.
Right.
So now the police are on the case, but there's much more to this story because what we discovered is that the police have known about this since at least July of last year.
Okay.
Didn't do anything.
Wow.
Pretty wild.
Right.
Right. Did you guys hear that the world's oldest man has died?
No.
Oh,
Yes, Juan Vicente Perez. He was born in Venezuela on May the 27th, 1909. So he's 115 years old.
this guy was alive before the Titanic sank. That's
Yeah.
insane.
Right? It is pretty
Two
crazy.
world wars.
Yeah.
So
1909.
he passed away. And the people
what a
in
great life.
Venezuela confirmed. So wow, that's a long time, 114 years.
Yeah.
Yep. So may he rest in peace. All right. You guys got anything for me today?
What happened to the cargo ship? Is that cool?
I think that, they were saying that they were basically, the rescue seems to have been, I guess, keeping it at bay. So they said it posed no imminent threat to the Cayman Islands. And
Let it float somewhere else.
Yeah.
so it seems like the vessel's main office in Greece had been contacted about how to tow it to Jamaica. So that's the latest information that we had on it. So it's going to go to Jamaica where they have the facilities to deal with it.
Wow.
All right.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about the guy who was born in 1909. Do you think they had like a Y 1900? Like, like were they worried about like Y2K? Like in
Y19?
1900?
What did they have going on back then?
They didn't really have like
when was the Spanish flu? He probably was.
I mean, what-
was
yeah.
concerned with
Spanish flu,
What
yeah.
were they concerned about it when they rolled over from 1899 to 19? They're like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen?
Well, they didn't really have computers,
None of the-
None
of the clocks are going to work. I know.
Yeah.
It's just wild, isn't it?
Oh no, we just had
It
to turn
is.
the
I mean,
hourglass
114
over.
The
years.
difference 100 years makes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Hey, are you going to Tasty Cayman, Sandy?
Oh, of course I'm gonna be there.
Are you going to the Black Eyed Peas?
I don't know yet.
Oh, come on, let's go have a party. Meet us down there.
I mean, I love the Black Eyed Peas. I gotta just
Yeah.
think about my scheduling, like 2 nights in a row. When you got a 7-year-old,
Well,
I know.
you can bring G to the food festival and the Black Eyed Peas.
She'll be there for that. She'll be there for that for sure. But
Yeah.
by 8:00, she's like done. She's like ready for bed. So
See, it's a little hard for a 7-year-old
Yeah.
for a concert, late concert. Yeah.
And I did read the Black Eyed Peas are going out at 10:30. I'm like, why?
10:30?
Why?
Wait,
I know that's like I'm
10:30.
trying to make that my bedtime now.
we
So I
can't
don't
even
know.
make it to midnight
I
on
know.
New Year's Eve.
Why 10:30?
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I hosted
they
trivia
gotta-
last night, and I was
they gotta
like, I
warn
should be
you.
in bed right now.
yeah.
They got to warm you up for all the good stuff.
Anyway,
Yeah,
it'll be a lot
I'm
of fun.
excited. I'm still thinking about it, and I think that most of I understand like a lot of the VIP sections already sold out. So
Yeah.
Close.
it's been well received. So
Well,
yeah,
it's 1 week away. 1 week from
Awesome.
tomorrow night.
awesome. Can't wait.
We'll see you
Yeah.
tomorrow.
All right,
For the
guys,
Friday,
have a good one.
Friday headlines
Bye.
tomorrow.
All right, folks. Good morning to everybody. ¿Cómo estás? I could not say that any more gringo than I just did. ¿Cómo estás? ¿Cómo estás? Bien, bien, bien. Bienvenido. Okay. Let's get it, honey child. Oh, let me grab my links because I know somebody still messaged me. Sandy, is there no show today? And I'm like, yes, there's a show. Where you living, honey child? We're live. But they need to get it directly in their inbox. So let me do that right now before I forget. Because once we start talking, the brain just goes bloop in a different direction. So give me 1 second, please. Let me grab the Facebook one. Nice. Bueno, bueno. Buenos dias. All righty. Okay. So I was hoping to go to Cuba before they we're not going to Cuba anytime soon now, but I was going to say the US government has gotten so strict about travel to Cuba and the whole ESTA thing. I will not be taking any chances. But I have been many years ago, many moons ago in the past. And my husband has never actually been to Cuba. So I was hoping we could have done like a little trip and I could show him the little parts that I saw. There's a lot of very interesting things in Cuba, although I think a lot has changed since the last time I was there, because poor them, their economy has taken a hit, and not in a good way. Those poor people. This is what happens when you let rogue governments get in there and control the people and control the money and the resources. And it's like Venezuela, oil rich and still one of the poorest countries in the world. I don't even know how theoretically, I'm just like, how does that work? How do you have so much oil? But it's because there's just too much corruption. The people are not ultimately benefiting from the resources, sound familiar, that are available there. So that is why we have to fight every day to keep people accountable. All right, speaking of accountability, I got a shocking update on this case with the Filipino fake marriage. We have several guests coming in, and we've got guests coming in at 8:00 and then another set at 8:30, which should take us close to 9:00. So, and then of course it's Thursday. So we are going to have open mic opportunities after that. And I'll update you guys in a few different scenarios. So good morning to everyone. I see the usual suspects are here and a few new faces. Miss Ann, good morning. CC McLaughlin in the house. How you doing? Hey, Chell, Miss Pat, Everton, Olive, Damien, everybody's here. Darlene McKenzie, Leroy. Leroy says Sandy Boy on the grits this morning. Grits is an American thing, right? I don't think Caribbean people really eat grits. Y'all don't eat grits. I got used to grits because, my aunt, although she was born in the Cayman Islands, she pretty much grew up her entire life in America. So she's Americanized, very much so. Her and her little country twang. She'd be like, Sandy, you got any of that lobster? Any of that Cayman lobster? I'd like some. I was like, Aunt Lottie, did you ever have a Cayman accent? Where's your Caymanian accent? Tell me you want some. I want some Cayman lobster. I was like, okay, then. So anyway, she would do, I guess, what's a typical African-American diet. things like collard greens and ham hocks. And, so I guess in some ways I got the best and the worst of both worlds with her cooking. Thanksgiving was off the chain, though. I got to admit, it became my favorite holiday just because the food, the food was like, And Lottie would be up for a whole day cooking. I mean, cooking everything from scratch. Her sweet potato pie still remains the best sweet potato pie I've ever had. And she would make the dough from scratch, everything from scratch. It was so divine. And you know what? To this day, I still do not like pumpkin pie that much. I'm a sweet potato pie kind of girl because she used to make sweet potato pie Thanksgiving and Christmas. And I was like, And Americans do nothing on Thanksgiving but sit down and eat and watch American football. So I didn't get too much into American football. My uncle and my cousin would sit there all day and watch it. And I'd be sitting there scrubbing the dishes and whatever after Thanksgiving dinner. But leading up to Thanksgiving dinner, I got to be honest, it was just a sight to behold. And she was one of those people, she didn't want anybody in her kitchen. She didn't want you helping her. She did everything herself. The ham, the turkey, she stuffed it. She did oh my God. Debbie says, I hate grits. Yeah, it's an acquired taste. In fact, personally, I don't think that grits even have a taste. They're very blah. It's the other stuff that you have on the plate that kind of gives it, So like if you have grits and eggs, then you kind of mix up the eggs and the grits, or grits and bacon or whatever. But yeah, honey chill, she would cook grits and I'd be like, what is this? There were some things she made me eat that I was just not feeling it. Onions and livers, like she did it the American way, where she didn't really cut it up. She did like the whole slab of onion and liver. I actually like the liver. Normally she do like corn, mashed potato, whatever. I like liver, but I don't actually like it because I'm not a fan of onions like that. So I know the necessity of using onions to season your food and to cook and give it flavoring. But I'm not a raw or semi-raw onions kind of person. I actually don't like onions at all like that. So I'd always be like, scoot those onions off my plate. Dean says, I love grits. Wow. Yeah, I kind of acquired a taste for them, but I got to admit, I haven't had grits in, oh my God, probably 15, 20 years now. There's certain things that I really, with her, I had so much of it growing up that I have no palate, no desire to probably ever eat it again. Grits is one of those things because I think we had grits at least a couple times a week. And peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, P&J, is another one of those things that I have zero desire to eat. It's so weird, really, because every day I felt like I was eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Like, she'd pack my after school lunch. Like when I get home, I'd get a little break between studying, like come off the school bus. You get a break and we'd sit down and we'd watch Guide and Light together. That was my break from school, give my little brain a break. And then I had to hit the books after that, work on my projects and whatever. And so normally we do like maybe little cookies or something with milk. And she, for some reason, a lot of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, I feel like I ate way too many of those. So as an adult, I don't think I have, since I moved out on my own or whatever, I probably haven't had a proper peanut butter and jelly sandwich since. I just had enough. I'm like, I don't want any more of that. Is there any foods that you guys ate as kids that you're like, no more? Shaka Zulu says Caymanians eat grits in the form of porridge, which is prepared differently. It's sweet. Yeah, but a porridge is totally different than a grit, man. The grits, that's different. Sometimes she'd make porridge too. She'd do her little homemade porridge and stuff. But she used to love it when Caymanians would visit Tampa back in the day. So she knew like Miss Sheila, which would be, what's his name? Jeff Webb's mommy. Like she knew her and stuff. And Jan, Miss Jan, her sister. I think they had a home in Tampa. I feel like they visited Tampa a lot. So they might have actually had a home there. And anytime they'd come, they'd come and visit my aunt. It was like, it's so weird. It's like she was an elder and they kind of knew her because they're all from the same stomping grounds in Georgetown. So of course, back in those days, I'm feeling kind of old now talking about back in those days, but there were certain things that you did out as a measure of respect and reverence. So they would go visit her and they would bring It's like you bear gifts. You visit the elders and you bring them something from back home. So sometimes they would bring her cayman lobster and different kind of stuff, patties or whatever that she couldn't get, you know. And so she was always very, very grateful and thankful for those sorts of things. Good morning, Strong Wilt. Says, good morning, Sandy and the CMR family. You look lovely today. Thank you. I didn't do much. A little lip gloss, brush the hair, and we good to go. Took a bath. Took a shower. I don't take showers. I can't stand a bath, just as an FYI. I do not like getting in bathtubs. All right. So Miss Morna says that she loves grits with breakfast, eggs, and toast. I haven't, like I said, I haven't had it in years. You know what? The next time I go to the States, I think I'm going to go somewhere where I can get an American breakfast. I'm trying to think where that would be. IHOPs, maybe? Like, I'm not really a person like IHOPs. Like, I need homemade cooking. I need somebody to invite me in their kitchen in America. But IHOPs probably has grits on the menu. But, you know, it's not the same when those people cook it. That'd be like instant box stuff. Aunt Lotta used to do it slow cooking kind of way. This morning says, morning. Yes, true. Living in the USA. I love grits and used to eat chitlins too. What are chitlins? Are those is that like, is that pork? Is that like the chucha? What is it? Chucha. What do you guys call it? Chucha? No. Chitlins are the large intestines of domestic animals. Not me. They're usually made from pig's intestines. Oh my God. No, honey child. I'm pretty sure she never cooked that. Nope. But she used to do the fried, deep fried chitterlings. I think we just call it chitlins. Yeah, I can't remember her ever making those, to be honest. But she did certain things that were very, very American. Like collard greens to me is like so African American. African American food. Let me try and think what else she did. Of course, she had her own version of mac and cheese, black eyed peas sometimes. And I didn't mind the collard greens; they were actually pretty good. This person says, yes, that darn corned beef. After Ivan, corned beef sandwich, corned beef and rice, corned beef soup. Corned beef soup. I've never even heard of such a thing. Corned beef and macaroni, corned beef and corn. I've not really eaten it since 2004. The event, I think you meant to say the scent of it makes me nauseous. Wow. Oh, this person says go to Cracker Barrel or Waffle House. You know what? I don't think I've ever even been to Cracker Barrel. Can you believe it? I don't think there's that many of them left around the USA, but in a Waffle House, are they still around? I have not seen a Waffle House in forever. There used to be one right in right on Fowler and Fletcher, like very close to USF. There was a waffle and there was like a little shopping plaza across the street. And I used to go there sometimes. But to be honest, I can't recall having seen one in Miami in a very long time. So according to Google, there's still one in Miami Gardens off of, where is this? 199th Street. I don't even know what part of Miami that is. Apparently it's close to WLRN TV. Really? I didn't even know they had a TV station. Snake Creek Canal. That's on the other side. I don't really go Miami Gardens that often. But are there any other is there anything like in the Doral area? That's normally where I'm at. Interesting. I haven't seen a Waffle Monkeys in a minute. I mean, Waffle Monkeys. I have been to Waffle Monkeys now. A Waffle House. All right. Shaka having a good laugh. Parts of the chicken, the intestines. Yeah, I don't like organs really. The only organ that I eat is liver. And I don't need to eat that every day kind of thing. But I do like liver occasionally. So, like I said, she would do liver with corn, very simple, liver, corn, and mashed potatoes. And it was like good to go. Shaka Zulu says, nope, same main ingredient, just prepared differently. Really? Yeah, don't give me no what else? What other organs do Caribbean people like to eat? Y'all like to eat some weird stuff. Y'all like oh god, tripe? What is tripe again? Which part of the organ is that? That's something in the cow or something. And I'm like, no. Don't give me no tripe. Don't give me no I ain't into none of that. No cow tongue. I remember I came on. Oh yeah, you want some cow tongue soup? I'm like, some what? Who? No, thank you. Y'all can keep that. I am so not into it. I'm not eating no monkeys and no monkey parts either. Everton says grits is made from corn milk water. I'm not too. I don't know what that image is supposed to be. Marshall is not feeling it. He's like, chitlings is stinky and nasty. Ugh. Natasha says Cracker Barrel grits are nasty. I think grits is definitely one of those foods you either like it or you don't like it, none at all. There's no in between with grits. You know what I mean? North Florida, and they're everywhere. So I got to go up north. Juliet, good morning. How are you, darling? Marshall says there's a lot of waffle monkeys and Cracker Barrels up this side. Well, I think I need to take an American trip. You know what I need to do? I mean, America is such a big country, and I feel like because of, our proximity to Miami and direct flights and stuff, we kind of limit ourselves. Like, I should do a tour. I actually bought a book the other day when I was in Miami that shows you like things to do in all 50 states, like everything to do. And I think that should be a bucket list item, is to go to at least all 50 states in America. See everything. So I need to go to the ATL. I've been to California, Florida. I have been to Atlanta, but I was a kid, so I don't remember much about it. So I think we went through the Carolinas to get to Atlanta, I think. But I need to properly do the Carolinas, North Carolina, South Carolina. I want to learn more. Like, I want to go to all the historical stuff, where the Civil War was, the historical, all the sites. Look at little slave houses and all that kind of stuff. Like, I want to see it. I want to be there. So, New York, I've been to New York. So I can kind of cross that off my bucket list, but I feel like I need to go back to New York because there's so much more. I mean, New York, listen, once you get out of the city, New York is beautiful. So we drove, the last time we were in New York, which was January a year ago. Marlon has a cousin that lives in New York. Y'all know Jamaicans and each other. They got family all over the world. So he got cousins in Australia and New York and this place and that place. Whenever we go someplace, I'd be like, okay, call your cousin. We go to Africa, call some cousins. He probably doesn't have any in Africa, but you know what I mean? India, call all your cousins. I tell y'all, the man is like 100% Indian. So I'm like, call everybody in India. So he laughs at me. He's like, girl, you just crazy. So anyway, he calls up his cousin, Dee Dee. And I was like, oh, you got a cousin in New York? He's like, yeah, my cousin Dee Dee. I'm like, okay. So, we go there and she's really, really super friendly. She actually picked us up from the airport. And then I find out she doesn't even live in the city. She was like an hour outside. I'm like, girl, you drove an hour to come pick us up to take us to the hotel? She's like, yeah, girl, this is New York. She warns us, be careful. They'll pickpocket you and steal. I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, I'm not walking around with no money. That'll make it easy. Anyway, the city, a little bit dirty, nasty, garbage everywhere. Especially when it's garbage day, the big rats who are gonna grab you and take you away. And so one day she's like, oh, come and visit me. It was the Martin Luther King holiday in January. So she's like, she's very community minded. Her husband, it's such a fascinating story. I actually want to interview her because her husband was one of the 9/11 survivors. And then he died a couple of years ago from one of these rare forms of cancer. So, they had a whole process of acknowledging people who were official survivors of 9/11. And he was one of them. And that gives her entitlements like benefits. His name is on the plaques and they invite her to certain events and whatever. But in her community, he was a fireman and he has a military background and stuff as well. He was in the military at some point. They actually used to have a private, she's such an interesting person to talk to, but They had, before COVID hit, they had a private security firm where they offered private security to like uber rich people because of their military and policing background. They had this business. And I mean, people from like Dubai were their clients. And she's like, child, these people were so rich. Like, it was like next level crazy. They would just show up like with bags of money in their hand. Nothing was like, they didn't mind spending money. And she said they were so nice too. But the women, obviously, because of their culture, you know, the women are not to have any contact with men, and they're very, very strict. So they liked her firm because they liked the fact that she could handle the women and the girls, the kids and stuff like that. And then the men would deal with the men. But anytime they went to New York, they had to sweep the hotels, like wherever they were staying. Like, they were like, okay, we're going to stay at this posh hotel. They would reserve the entire half the floor. They would have to sweep it security wise. Make sure there were no bugs, there was no bombs, there was nothing. I mean, these people were like super cautious when they travel. And so she's like, yeah, you know, her guys had to actually, her security detailers, her security team, they would be escorting them to shopping. You know, she would take the women shopping or whatever. And then on top of that, they provided, you know, they drove them everywhere, like the whole 9 yards. They came in for meetings or whatever. And then sometimes the wives might actually come on their own to do some shopping, but it was, you know, very, very strict. So anyway, this is his cousin. She's very, very interesting. She's very, very like hyper, lots of energy. So she's like, Sandy, come and spend the day with me out here and wherever she lives, all the way out in the bushes, the boondocks. And I was like, okay. And I said, well, how the heck am I going to get there? I mean, I don't want you to drive an hour back and forth. She's like, no, I'm going to send you a driver. So she sends an Uber. When she said a driver, I wasn't sure what kind of driver. I'm like, do you still have access to your drivers? Or she just orders an Uber. And I'm like, an Uber for an hour-long drive? She's like, yeah, girl, that's nothing. Okay. So the Uber picks me up, and Gigi and I are driving out. It's cold, super cold, January, New York. Brr. And man, once we got out of the city, I was really like, you know what? New York is beautiful. The trees, and it was winter. So, you know, you had that wintry feel, the wintry look. I was just sitting there taking in the scenery of New York. Now, she lives in a little small town. In my brain, I'm still thinking, there's no small towns in New York. Like, we're thinking of the big city. And sure enough, she lives in this little small town right outside of that military base. I'll have to double check the name of it. The police station has like 5 police officers. That's how small this town is. I mean, it is tiny. One little church. I think they had 1 or 2 churches on the mean little strip. Oh, look at this thing zooming in on me again. Lord have mercy. It's a good thing. Hold on. Let me try to get it to zoom back out. I must tell y'all, Lord, it's a good thing I got nice clear skin, honey child, because every time this thing zooms in, it's when I do a certain thing, it thinks I'm trying to do some AI symbol. It's a good thing, honey child. And I got no blemishes, because y'all would be like, ooh, Sandy, look at Sandy's face. Anywho, we're just doing some small talk until our guests are ready, so y'all hang tight. So yeah, so anyway, it was very, very interesting. And I like to feel the places where I visit, like the culture so it was interesting to hear in their little city, New York. I was like, I don't have a signal on my phone. Like, where am I? You know, I'm like, what's the background music to this scene? What's the name of that show? The Alien show with the man and the woman, people would go missing. You know, I felt like I just went into an alternative universe. I'm like, why don't I have signal on my phone? Who's about to kidnap me? The aliens about to come out of the sky kind of thing. Well, she explained that apparently in this little hole bunk town, because that's what it is, the people just sit outside gossiping with each other all day long. They have real difficulty getting a signal because there's one person in the town. There's always that one crazy person who believes in every conspiracy theory in the world. And she is a retired attorney, got nothing better to do in her time, with her time. So she sues the government constantly, the town, to keep them wrapped up in litigation. And one of the things that she sues them about is she believes that 5G towers are going to take control of your brain and whatever. So because they've been tied up in litigation, they've not been able to get proper cell tower coverage for this town. And I'm thinking, what? I couldn't believe it. I'm like, one person is doing this? She's like, yep, one person. The only reason that they have internet access, because then as long as I got close enough to where she lived and she has like a little shop and whatever, I could get Wi-Fi. The only reason they had Wi-Fi is because they're very, very close to a military base. So the military base said, listen, they're not business with her and nobody else. They're like, we need internet, we need this, we need that. So they allowed one company only, talk about a monopoly. They only allowed one company to trunk in fiber to the military base. So the town benefited from the laying of the fiber pipes and whatever to the military base. So she's supposed to, she was in the middle of remodeling a house. She's supposed to be moving onto the actual military base because that's one of the benefits and stuff that she'll get. But it's just so interesting as Caribbean people to see how we are spread out around the world, right? So her parents are Jamaicans and she was born in Jamaica, but somehow they ended up in the States originally by way of Miami. And then her and her sisters went different places. So I think there's one sister, I think in Atlanta, she's in New York. The mom goes back and forth from the States to Miami. So the States to, not Miami, to Jamaica. So it's really, really interesting to see how even Caymanians now, although we're a much smaller population, we're becoming more diverse. We've got people like Frankie Flowers. He's in California. We've got Jade Pitcairn. She's artist in New York. She's a writer or video. She does movies. She's on the video side, I think. I need to interview her. So, it's a big world, and yet in so many respects, it's still a very, very small world. Absolutely fascinating. So listen, I don't know where our guests are. The first set looked like they're a little bit late. So let's talk. Yesterday, we had a very interesting show. Some days I feel like there's never a dull moment around here. I'm going to be completely honest with you. There's never a dull moment. So we were trying to dissect this situation with this marriage, this kind of fake marriage thing, right? And lo and behold, life is so funny. The one thing that I know, all these years now, we're coming into our 8th year of doing CMR, is sometimes you only need 80% of the story. And we do this especially with government because they always be trying to hide stuff. And, we put 80%, we say, hey, we don't know everything. We just put 80% of the story out there. And the story has a way of coming to you. Well, it comes to me, honey child. In the most, yes, Siobhan, there is never a dull moment. In the most spectacular way. Yep. So here I was yesterday, minding my own business. And I got a phone call saying, hey, Sandy, somebody called me and told me that you were talking about this Filipina lady with this fake marriage on your show. And I was like, oh, I said, yes, we talked about it this morning. They said, well, we need to talk because I'm the one who secured those documents. I was like, what? You secured the documents? They're like, yes. Let me tell you the full story about this woman, what they know. And I was like, ooh, honey child, let me get another cup of tea because it sounds like it's going to be good. It is so fascinating how all of this came about. I'm going to tell you all the backstory. So basically what this is this woman, what's her name? Anne Rose or whatever her name is. Turns out that she's a little bit of a troublemaker. What do they say? When trouble don't trouble you, don't trouble, or something like that. Don't trouble what don't trouble you? Yes, honey chill. Sometimes you're better off keeping a low profile. I keep telling y'all, especially when you're up to no good, the best thing for you to do is just to keep your mouth shut. Don't trouble people. Because when you start to trouble people, they're like, what you been up to? All right. So here's the thing. She's been troubling a lot of people in the Filipino community. They say she's a bully in the Filipino community. I'm like, really? Mm-hmm. That's what a Filipino was telling me. So anywho, she's messing around, troubling people. And her own Filipinos say, well, we had enough of her. And they start talking amongst themselves. And you know who they talk to? They talk to Caymanians. They're like, this woman, she's always harassing us. She's troubling us. She's a horrible person, trying to make our lives miserable. Because apparently she came to Cayman. I don't know how long she's been here now. She thinks that she's somebody, as Caymanians would say. She thinks she's somebody. Yeah. So the Filipinos start complaining about her, and the Caymanians are like, wonder what her real story is. So then they're talking amongst themselves. Well, she got this husband in the Philippines. She got a husband in the Philippines? But how's she getting married in Cayman? So a Caymanian, you know how yesterday y'all were like, oh, we don't know if these documents are legit, whatever. Honey child, the person who actually reached out to the civil registry and the statistics office in whatever in the Philippines contacted me yesterday and verified. Sandy, I can tell you that those are legit because I requested them myself. I was like, girl, tell me more. I'm sitting here sipping on my water. She's like, yes. And it all started because she was harassing other people. She even listened to this. Ooh, honey child, she's a nasty little person. She went and called immigration and other Filipinos, reporting them about how they were working outside the terms of their work permit. And apparently, she got it completely wrong. That's not what was happening at all. So she tried to get other Filipinos in trouble. She, by extension, tried to get the Caymanian employer in trouble. And so when that happened, the Caymanian employer was like, honey child, this is not how this can go. So they start digging into her. And you know what happened? When you got dirt, you better, like I said, shh, keep your mouth shut. Don't bother people. Because when they start digging into your Pandora's box and all your skeletons falling out the closet, then what are you going to do? So that's kind of how this got started in a way. Now, here's what I was most shocked to find out. The POPO, the RCIPS, you know, sometimes I question myself. Am I being too hard on them? And then a case like this comes up and I'm like, police, y'all redefine the term slackness. When you look up slackness in the dictionary, right next to slackness is an example of slackness, RCIPS. I mean, I hate to paint them with the same brush, but they are too slack. Seriously. They have known. Listen to me very, very carefully now, because a lot came out of yesterday's discussion, including y'all trying to throw the marriage officer under the bus. So I was digging hard to find out what does what and what does what. As it turns out, the marriage officer did her job after she found out what was going on. Hold on, I'm going to tell y'all. So the Popo knew about this at least by July of last year. We are now in April of 2024, sorry. And they have done nothing. No. WORC have done nothing, and they were also notified. So apparently the marriage officer found out. My sources said a lawyer reached out to her because they were looking into it for other interested parties. Probably the husband in the Philippines. Like, did my wife really get married to somebody else? Because we got a toddler together. How could she do this? He better try and get DNA tests on that toddler. That's what I'm saying. So anywho, yeah, that's how the ball got rolling. When the marriage officer found out, she did her part. She notified the general registrar. They actually canceled. You see how that woman lied to me yesterday? Hold on, stick a pin. Because, listen, I can't stand a liar. But in my opinion, You have got to be special for you to get a phone call from Sandy and I ask you questions. Y'all heard the questions I was putting to the woman, and for her to lie to me on the radio was her ultimate undoing, because I could tell she was lying. And I was like, ooh, honey child, I got to keep digging. Listen to the conversation again from yesterday.
Oh, sorry. Good morning. Harbor House. How may I help?
Hi, good morning, Anne.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, it's Sandy Hill. How are you?
Oh, hi. I'm good. How are you?
Yes, not too bad. So listen, we're calling you from the Cold Hard Truth this morning because someone has said that you have a husband in the Philippines and a husband in the Cayman Islands.
Oh.
Yes,
Wow,
I know. I was quite shocked too.
oh my gosh.
Yeah. Listen, let me pause it right there, right? This woman thinks you're bright. You hear her response where she says, oh, listen, if you not got two husbands, the first thing you're going to say is, no, ma'am, that's not true. Her brain, this is how your brain works when you're telling a lie, you know? When people catch you off guard, all of a sudden her brain was like, oh my God, a husband there. Oh, really? Somebody told you that? The brain trying to figure out, how am I going to lie about this? She doesn't initially deny it, you know? What she says is, the brain now is like on pause because the brain's like, oh shoot, listen, I'm going to rewind it. Listen carefully. You have a husband in the Philippines and a husband in the Cayman Islands.
Oh.
Yes, I know. I was quite shocked too.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So they, oh my gosh. What are you saying, oh my gosh, for? If it wasn't true, immediately you'd be able to respond to the lie. Instead, her brain is trying to process this, like, how do I get out of this? Say that you're married to, let me see what the husband's name is now. Is it Hebert in the Philippines?
Yeah, that's the father of my daughter. Yeah.
Boom. Hear what she said. You got to be able to pick it apart like a detective. She says, that is the father of my daughter. What? She never said that is my ex-husband. That is my husband. She says that is the father of my daughter. So the brain now trying to bring up the lies. Nobody describes your husband as the father of your daughter. Of course, he got to be the father of your daughter. Well, maybe, like I said, time for DNA test. But the way she chose to initially describe him as he is the father of my daughter, anybody with a little bit of sense, if that was your ex-husband, the brain would tell you to say, oh, that's my ex-husband. That's because that's not an ex-husband. He's still your husband. Listen to how she responds. The father of my daughter. Is it Hebert in the Philippines?
Yeah, that's the father of my daughter. Yeah.
But is he actually your husband? Because there's a marriage certificate saying that you guys got married on January the 10th of 2011.
Oh. Really? No, but that is already sorted out.
So hold on a second. I just tell you that you got married in 2011. Your response is, oh, no. If you're an honest person, your response is like, yeah, I got married then. But since then, I've gotten an announcement. No, she's like, oh, to what? You don't know that you got married in 2011? Keep listening. It's already sorted out. How did you sort it out?
In the Philippines.
So I say it's already sorted out. How did you say?
Oh. Really? No, but that is already sorted out.
That is already sorted out. How did you sort it out?
In the Philippines.
So you see, when I ask her, how was it sorted out? She never answered the question. This is another indication that somebody's being deceptive when they cannot answer a direct question. I said, how was it sorted out? I didn't say where. I said, how was it sorted out? You heard what she say? In the Philippines. That doesn't answer my question. Good morning, caller.
Morning.
Hello, honey child. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So we are just updating our listeners in terms of what transpired yesterday that kind of blew this case right out of the water. Okay. And of course, you are in the know. You're pivotal. So tell us your role in all of this.
Well, how I became aware of her, I actually employ a few Filipinos myself in my business. And she was actually a roommate of theirs, her and this gentleman, was actually roommates. They all shared a home together and so forth. She started nitpicking at everyone in the house. Like she would report, observe things to the landlord. The landlord would raise the rent. She would tell a lot of lies to the landlord on them. And the thing is, like, him and her came into the household with them. It's not like they had the place first. They actually invited them and offered them a room to rent. You understand what I'm saying? Things got like bad to worse to worse. Like she nitpicked at all of them in the house, putting things on their employer's Facebook and, false accusations about, what they were doing. They got a lot of trouble with their employers and so forth like that. And of course, I employ two in the household. Well, she knew me personally just from me, being, they work for me. So they would invite me to functions and stuff like that they would have and stuff. So, I'm aware of who him and her is, and definitely they're aware of me. She never one day called me or said anything to me or nitpick about anything, with the two that I had working for me. But what she did in return, she watched their Facebook page and anything that they put up to sell on Facebook, like if it was a phone, it was furniture, anything that they put up to sell, what she did to one of them in particular is she reported them. She reported them to work, right? So of course he gets a call one day and he's upset. He's upset about it because he's like, what's happening? So of course I'm his employee. I accompany him down there and it was brought known to them. Someone wrote in and said, hey, I think this person is selling stuff and doesn't actually have a trade and business license to sell stuff. A lot of the stuff that he was selling was stuff for our business and stuff like that. And what I actually do, I am I own an online courier service and I bring in things. I'm a broker for people and stuff like that. So a lot of stuff that he was selling was stuff that I was asking him, hey, get the word out, put this stuff up. We need to get rid of it. That sort of stuff like that. So I explained that to, the officers at work and bam, nothing came out of it, in terms of him getting in any problems, right? So what then transpired then, I had a conversation with him and we were walking out of work and we got back to the office. I said, what's going on? I said, who could report you on something like that? Do you guys have issues with anyone? So that's when her and her partner then was kind of brought to light with me. And then they started telling me all of the things that this lady had been doing, like not only to the people in their household, but other Filipinos on the island had gotten themselves involved. She created quite a story with all their employers to the point where I think one of them had to leave the island and went home and stuff like that.
Wow.
Then it just brought to light then to me that, they got married and they're like, well, how could she get married? Because her and this gentleman, is married. She's married already. I said, well, she can't be married already if she's actually, married here. Because, on the, like the marriage officer would have to ask her and she said, and, she would then say, no, I've not been married. And that's exactly what she did. What she didn't realize. And then I started hearing more and more of the troubles that she was causing everybody, including, two of the brothers that work for one in particular that works for me. And to a point where like I almost had to intervene with his employers and stuff and speak to them because, these things are not true, And I said, you know what? I got to look into this. So got the Filipino marriage certificate. The registrar general here, obviously public documents are public documents. So I just requested, I knew their names and I knew around the time based on when those pictures and stuff were posted at the marriage, I knew a range of when that marriage could have taken place. And I went to registrar general and I was the person who got that Cayman Islands marriage certificate. I then went to work. And I left a copy and they said, well, Monique, this is actually not a work issue. We'll take a copy, but we're gonna send you to the police to report this. I reported it around September the 3rd. That's when I reported it. And I was, I left them the same documents that I see you guys having on CMR yesterday, because this was brought to my attention yesterday. And I know those documents were documents that I put out there. Yes. I put those documents out there. And I am the person, I am the Caymanian that you spoke about, Sandra, in your article. I am that person who made this initial report. Very unknown to me that, seems like other people were intervening at the time too. Like, the marriage officer, someone else reported her. I didn't know that at the time when I submitted my report, and my document. And those same documents that the marriage officer got, I'm pretty sure they were documents that I had obtained. So if anyone's caused and stirred the pot here, it was me, based on the things that I had heard that she, her behavior pattern with other people and stuff like that. I decided not to go to her because, of course, the Filipinos that work for me, they didn't want me to go to her. They wanted me to just kind of say, Miss Monique, take the necessary, do it rightfully. So I did it rightfully. I went to report her. I didn't make a fuss. I definitely, Sandra, I know you very well. And I never called you and said, hey, I found out something about somebody and stuff like that. I never did that. I went to the police thinking that they would have taken it up in hand and whatever. Left my report, followed up with the officer on the 19th of October. And I was told that, they had contacted, I guess, Interpol or something overseas. And they were just waiting for someone, I guess, from Interpol. I guess they wanted to verify the divorce situation in the Philippines,
I don't think they need to call Interpol for that, but anyway.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I mean, oh my God, you're not dealing with a drug cartel here. I thought that was absurd anyway as well. But anyway, I loved it and I didn't say anything. I said, okay. And they said, oh, well, I reported it in Georgetown Police Station. So an officer there who obviously took up the report to investigate it, when I did follow up with him on the 19th, he said, oh, someone in Bordentown had reported it. And an officer at the Bordentown Police Station would be in touch with you because it seems like someone else had reported the same situation and that the case is being handled by that officer in Bordentown. No one never called me and no one never updated me. The only update I got was him saying someone would call me as they had sent out some information and stuff like that, and they would whatever. She must have calmed down a little bit because I never heard my workers, because I didn't follow up with them until about December, and I was like, is she still even here? And they said, yeah, but, it's obviously being very quiet. And I think by this time, things would have come to light. Now I realize why she was still and why she was so quiet is because it probably had gotten back, obviously the marriage officer had annulled the marriage. So she realized that something is happening and someone has reported her, but she never troubled them again, Sandy. And I just left it at that. So the first I'm hearing about all of this now is yesterday that this has now brought to light. And I'm pretty sure it still hasn't been dealt with. If I went to the police this morning, say I made the initial report,
right?
I provided you guys the document. Where's the update? They probably won't be able to say anything because it seems like
now that we're on the case, we have reached out to them, and I can tell you without fear of contradiction, something will now be done.
Yeah. So thank you. I just thought, if she, it's an easy fix and solution to this thing that everyone can take care of, including the police. Call her in and say, listen, you have to provide us, when she was contacted by the marriage officers, what she should do at that time to save the marriage that took place here, and say, well, I do have an annulment. If you don't get divorce papers in the Philippines, well, then come out and say, well, I do have an annulment. And I'm pretty sure they can get a Filipino here in the blink of an eye. She could have gotten that annulment papers in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, she would have at least been able to show that she had applied for it. She's not even done that.
Yes, that's all she had to do. It didn't have to leave to the point where the marriage officer here had to annul her marriage and stuff like that. It didn't have to lead to that. All she had to do was come up the right paperwork and say, well, I did have it. Here you go. I may have been dishonest on my paperwork to the marriage officer saying I had never been married before, because on her paperwork, she said she'd never been married.
Yeah. Well, apparently,
You see what I'm saying?
when you get an annulment, because apparently the Philippines is the only country in the world, because, like I said yesterday, we were investigating, digging, trying to get it right. So the Philippines is the only country outside of the Vatican, because they're considered their own, state or whatever. But they're the only country in the world where you cannot get a divorce. You have to get an annulment. So when you get an annulment legally is like you've never been married before.
Never been married.
So if she actually had the annulment, she could have truthfully said, yes, I've never been married before. But she never got the annulment, nor has she ever applied for the annulment.
And the thing is, that's what I'm saying. This was such an easy fix to all of this that it didn't need to lead to all of this morning and showing up what this one didn't do and that one didn't do, because she should have done her due diligence as well, knowing very well that other people in the community who may know her first husband from the Philippines might actually make assumptions, especially girl, if you're going all over the place and picking at everybody.
That's what I'm saying. Don't trouble. If trouble, don't trouble you.
Do not throw stones if you live in a glass house. And that's exactly what she was doing.
Wow.
And
someone is listening to the show and this person says, this lady on the phone saying the truth, she did that to a lot of other people. So apparently within the Filipino community, she was stirring the pot and really getting underneath, otherwise good people. And so, the Filipino community is very close knit.
Yeah, but that is the case, Sandy. And I can tell you, I am known because of the people that work for me. And I can tell you it's at least 9 people that I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like, I was completely shocked at the things that I heard she was doing.
Yes, and I got some breaking news here right now that this is not even a shock to anybody, because as you're sitting here talking to me, listen, I have a sixth sense about certain things. Let me tell you something. I always follow my gut. And as you're sitting here talking to me, because now yesterday after we called her, she's not called us back. Give me 1 second. I'm going to have join in another caller. Remember how you guys heard her say that she was going to call me back? And I'm cognizant that our guest is waiting to come on at 8:30, but she claimed that she was going to call me back. Of course, she never called me back. Not only did she not call me back, but the husband in Cayman has since taken down his social media account. Now, y'all know Detective Sandy found the secondary backup account that he uses that has the name reversed. Y'all can't get too much past me, honey child. And so I saw that one, but they're already scrubbing their presence and the evidence off of social media, because remember now, she in her own evidence has said that she got married. Her friends were congratulating them. So not only do we have the marriage photo from this with the marriage certificate and everything with poor Miss Joy in the photo, getting Miss Joy mixed up in their foolishness, but they themselves were posting additional photos on social media. This is why you got to be careful with social media, because y'all trying to live a certain lifestyle. This is what they were posting up. And their friends were like, oh, congratulations. And they're like, oh, thank you, Paul. So this is what they were up to.
Yeah, I mean, but like I said, this is an easy fix to this situation. It didn't have
the police needed to do their job, because what she has done is she's committed bigamy.
I don't think they even called her. I honestly don't think they even called her. They reached out to sources, it seems, that they felt they needed. Maybe that's their protocol.
I don't know. That got put in file 13 and somebody forgot all about it.
Yeah. So I mean, I kind of left it. She stopped troubling the people the Filipino people that I had around me. They really never heard from her again. I think she realized what was happening. I begged them time and time. I said, do you guys want me to go and sit and talk with them and see what's going on? They had to move house, Sandra.
Oh, my God.
Because of that.
Wow.
They had to move house. And that's when I got real angry. I had really wanted to put my hand on this girl. And I even contemplated, like, when I had those certificates in my hand, I contemplated back and forth, and I spoke to my husband. I said, should I do this? He said, I think you need to do it because it's the right thing to do. I'm not the person to stir the pot. Like, I'm the person to call the police after I've gone to the person.
Yeah.
I don't believe in going to police. I can deal with shit myself, and then I can call the police, come get my ass. If I'm wrong.
Like just language, because we're on radio.
Sorry.
Yes.
And I said, let me just
let's do this the right way. And, but I don't know. It's just so sad to see. But what I can say this morning about this, I guarantee you, they're not going to be here by Friday.
Hello. Hold on.
And nothing to stop them.
Just as you're talking to me this morning, I have said, this is what I was going to tell you, how you listen to your gut, right? Something just said to me, they're going to run. They're going to leave this jurisdiction and they're going to run. And guess what? As I'm sitting here thinking that, somebody just messaged me and they said, somebody just gave me a tip saying that they're planning to leave. Both didn't come to work today. They said, Sandy, verify it. Both didn't come to work today.
But nothing will be able to stop them from leaving.
Well, they need to put a stop order in place. If the police and CBC and these people, if they allow this couple to leave this jurisdiction after knowing what they did, and really the man can leave if he wants, because technically he hasn't committed an offense. I'm guessing he's not been married before. But if our police allow her to leave and not put in a stop order, we don't need no other confirmation of the slackness that's going on in this country.
I mean, easy fix, girl. Get your annulment papers in the Philippines until this story did. Put Sandra Kitchen in her place until the story did.
Yeah, I mean, the truth. Listen, the truth. All you need to do is do the right thing.
She should have done that yesterday on the phone with you, or even call you back and say, Miss Sandra, I'm working at trying to get the annulment papers.
She didn't call back. She said she was going to call back, but she didn't call back.
Didn't call back. Deleting social media presence, and you guys are just making it very obvious of what's happening here. And I guarantee you, them tickets being bought today for them to leave on that be guarantee you. I guarantee.
Thank you, my honey child. We're gonna take a little pause on this story. 552 people listening on social media and plus more on Facebook, but our Instagram. I'm gonna pause the story because I'm not done analyzing her call yesterday, but I am cognizant and respectful of the fact that we do have a guest waiting. So I want you all to thank you so much, my dear, for explaining. Yes, and we're going to go a bit more into details on this because we can see now. I don't think it a blind man can see what's coming. Yes, they're going to try to leave the jurisdiction. All right, stick a pin. We're going to pick up on it. I don't want y'all logging off now. I see 554 people. If one person leaves, I'm going to find out who you are, and I'm going to come after you. Listen, folks, we have a guest in the studio, and we're going to talk to them a little bit this morning, and then we're going to come back and pick this story back up because I want to talk about how some of you are making comments that I find very, very interesting. Stay tuned. All right, listen. UCCI has a lot going on all the time. I feel they're keeping very, very busy these days. And, they've been coming on the program. They have a new person who's in charge of their marketing department. She has taken on the mantra of, you know what, we're going to tell people in the community what's going on. We're going to be forward facing when it comes to the media. We're going to share. And it's been phenomenal because in the last 2 years, under the leadership of Dr. Robert Robertson, they have had the highest enrollment numbers that the university has ever seen. They've made some positive strides in a good direction. They've celebrated now their 10th year of the School of Nursing program. And so in continued celebration of that landmark achievement, they have a couple things going on as it relates to nursing. So I want to go ahead and welcome Dr. Robert Robertson to the show this morning. Good morning, Dr. Robertson. How are you? Okay, you need to just unmute yourself for me. I see you've got your mic muted. Just click on that little mute button on your screen. It's probably from within the application. There we go.
Got it. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Good morning. So this is actually your first time on the show live. I know we've interviewed you.
I think I've been on a few times live, but it's been some time. It's been some time ago.
It's been some time. Okay. I know we've done some pre-recorded interviews, but I couldn't remember if you'd actually come on live. But anyway, welcome to the program, The Cold Hard Truth this morning. So let's talk a little bit about University College of the Cayman Islands really marking a significant milestone in the history of healthcare education in the Cayman Islands. So you've got two historic events this week that we want to make sure that people know about. One is taking place today, this evening, and one is going to be taking place tomorrow. So the first event, which is this evening at 6 p.m., is going to be the renaming ceremony of the UCCI School of Nursing. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, just for context, as you mentioned, this is the 10th year of the nursing school, which is a pretty important achievement. I mean, we can all see the increasing value of healthcare generally and nursing around the world, let alone here in the Cayman Islands. And it's really important to recognize that that area is going to grow. And so the first of the two announcements essentially is the renaming of the nursing school that will occur this evening. We're pleased to be renaming it to the Ruth Eleanor McLaughlin School of Nursing. This honors a Caymanian nurse who was one of the first to establish nursing here on the islands and in fact establish a nursing school. She was very instrumental in professional development of nursing over the years, and we're proud to be able to name the nursing school after her this evening at 6 p.m. At the session tonight, we will have an address by the Premier, by the Minister of Health, and by two other individuals who are familiar with Nurse McLaughlin's involvement in the nursing profession. So it's a very instrumental night this evening.
Yeah, so this is fantastic. So again, this is Nurse Ruth Eleanor McLaughlin. The School of Nursing is actually going to be renamed in her honor. So do you know much about her that you could tell us? I mean, I've got some information here. Apparently her career, Nurse McLaughlin's career, spanned over 3 decades, during which she was instrumental in shaping the nursing profession in the Cayman Islands. Her dedication went above and beyond the confines of the hospital. She was a visionary who played a pivotal role in the establishment of the first school of nursing in the Cayman Islands, which was based at the Cayman Islands Hospital. So you couldn't really have picked, in my opinion anyway, a more fitting person who really, was instrumental in setting up the very first school of nursing. So Correct. This is absolutely phenomenal. So right. You've got a whole list of guest speakers this evening. Dr. Robertson, you mentioned the Honorable Juliana O'Connor Conley, Premier, the Minister for Finance, Education, District Administration, Lands and Cabinet, the Honorable Sabrina Turner, who's Minister for Health and Wellness and Home Affairs, as well as Ms. Hyacinth Rose, who and Ms. Lucille Seymour will all be there speaking at this event. So this is going to be quite an amazing event. So right. Let's just reiterate for our listeners, it's going to be 6 p.m. this evening. The venue is the Sir Vassal Johnson Hall there at the University College of the Cayman Islands.
Correct. And the entrance is free as well. If anybody does want to come along, it's a free event.
Absolutely. So the first school of nursing dating back all the way to 1971, folks. This Correct. Is Cayman history right here. So This is phenomenal. So UCCI now has been, running their own nursing bachelor's degree program. This is your 10th anniversary for that.
Right.
And so I know that you guys saw this as a real fitting tribute to celebrate the 10 years.
It is. And it really shows, I think, in terms of Ms. McLaughlin, her vision, as you mentioned, her persistence over time, but also she was one who brought a sense of the holistic aspect of healthcare to the nursing profession. And I think that's increasingly the way we see things going. So she was ahead of her time, and I think we're really proud as a result to have the nursing school named after her. I think it will help us. It'll help the graduates. It helps to build the brand of the nursing school, and we want to try to do that because there is an increasing demand for nurses globally, and particularly in the Caribbean and the Cayman Islands.
Wonderful. And Nurse McLaughlin was seen again as a revolutionary person, emphasizing the importance of empathy, compassion, and patient-centric care for all. And she was a mentor, imparting wisdom and fostering a culture of continuous learning and education and excellence. Her efforts in elevating nursing standards have made a lasting contribution to the healthcare system in the Cayman Islands, where she tried to ensure that the Cayman Islands community actually benefited from highly skilled and dedicated nursing professionals. And in fact, her efforts led to the creation of the Cayman Islands Nurses Association.
That's right.
Where she served as advisor and was later honored with a life membership. Wow.
Yeah, very impressive career. And over a period of time, like you said, I think it was 30 plus years that she was actively involved, not only as a practitioner, but also as a mentor, also as someone promoting the profession, bringing young people in, serving as a mentor to younger people. and all of those things combined make her a real suiting, individual to name the school after.
Wonderful. All right, so this is open to the public. Come on out, 6 p.m. this evening, Sir Vassal Johnson Hall. And that's one of the things that you're doing, but you're not stopping there. So tomorrow is another big day for you there at UCCI for the nursing program. You're going to have a symposium. So, wow, tell us a little bit about the symposium.
So these things obviously are linked. This ties together with the interests of Nurse McLaughlin, but she was really interested in, continuous development and improving people. So tomorrow we have a symposium that's titled Challenges and Opportunities for Nursing and Midwifery in the 21st Century. We have more than 170 people registered from around the world at this event. It will be a live event, but it will be recorded. It starts at 8:30 tomorrow morning at the Sir Vassal Johnson Hall at UCCI. It goes until 4 p.m. and we have a series of speakers and panels on healthcare generally. And we're really pleased to have the real support of the healthcare system in the Cayman Islands to make this a really big event. We're hoping to produce peer-reviewed papers from this for presentation. And we invite any health professional to come along to the session as well. It's again, it's open. And just in terms of what Nurse McLaughlin had been talking about, it also is an event which will provide professional development credits to participants, which is really important, so they can continue their professional development.
Wow, fantastic, fantastic. So this symposium is going to be all day. Can people pop in and out of the symposium? So if they don't have, full day, can they come for like the morning session?
Yes, they can. Yeah, they can. And it depends on what they see in the program of direct interest to them. I mean, I think all of it will be interesting, but there'll be certain parts more interesting to others, perhaps, and they can certainly come in, stay for a while, and then depart. But as I said, we have speakers from Canada, the United States, the Caribbean, the Cayman Islands, obviously, and so it's an international symposium on a really important topic, and we're delighted with the enrollments that we've seen so far. I think the last number I saw was 168 participants.
Wow, very good. So the theme this year, the challenges and opportunities for nursing and midwifery in the 21st century. This inaugural symposium is going to convene healthcare professionals from across the Cayman Islands and beyond to discuss innovations and advancements in nursing and midwifery. Again, folks, the symposium is going to feature presentations on critical healthcare topics, including the impact of technology and patient care, offer a platform for the exchange of cutting-edge research and best practices. So UCCI has invited nurses, doctors, and other healthcare professionals, community members, and others to participate and witness this historic moment, again, for the UCCI School of Nursing. Lots of international and local nurses and speakers highlighting cutting-edge research and exploring the impact of technology and patient care, and facilitating discussions on advancing the nursing and midwifery professions. So just a couple of things that are going to be covered specifically topic-wise: pain, depression, and fatigue before and after knee and hip angioplasty, really important. A lot of you are now doing knee and hip replacement surgeries, so this is really important. Prevalence of high-grade, this is a long one, squamous intraepithelial lesions. HSIL. Those of you in nursing and medical profession will know what that is. Cervical cancer in females age 21 to 60. Very, very important topics here. Culture care, an integrative framework for equity and inclusion, and the perspective of parents living in a selected district in the Cayman Islands regarding the effects of playing video games on their children. So, wow, that's a good one. All parents should be very interested in that. Yes. So this is a research conference, and it's a platform for nurses, midwives, and others to share their research findings with colleagues, healthcare professionals, and the wider community. This is fantastic.
Yeah, it's going to be a very good session. And just so people are aware, there are places available in the nursing program for young people and interested in, going into nursing as a career. There's good jobs when you finish, opportunities here in the Cayman Islands and elsewhere. We also have, as you may recall, we also have an articulation agreement now with St. Matthew's University here in the Cayman Islands. So you can actually move into a veterinary doctor position, a program right here at home, or a medical doctor's program. So we're really putting an emphasis on healthcare generally. And I think you'll hear some of that tomorrow as well. It's very important to create pathways for employment for young people, and they'll be able to see that firsthand in tomorrow's session.
Wonderful. All right, folks. So both of these events, both the renaming ceremony, which is going to take place this evening, and then the symposium tomorrow are free. You can attend for free. And the symposium tomorrow makes you eligible for continuing education hours, which are available for relicensure. So if you're a nurse or midwife, you'll know what that is all about. So ensure that you come out, because you can get your continuing education credits.
Indeed. Yeah, very important. So we're going to try to continue this going forward. I think it's very important for the community to have those continuing education credits, and we're really delighted with the activities of both today and tomorrow. We're looking forward to 2 very positive days.
Let's read a few comments from our listeners as we wrap this up this morning. Again, Dr. Robert Robertson, who's head of UCCI, is joining us this morning. So we have a comment here from Debbie. She's asking, what's the cost? We've just answered that. Completely free for both events. Kim Maria says the symposium is very educational. Fantastic. Ethel says, I'm glad to hear that Caymanian people name is being placed on the building. Well, the entire School of Nursing is going to be named after her.
Yes.
Faith and Hope says, I'll be there. CPD on it. So that's her continuing credits.
I look forward to seeing Faith tomorrow.
Yes. Faith is not going to miss out. And I've got a WhatsApp comment here that says, hold on one second. This person says, good morning, Sandy. Nurse McLaughlin delivered me back in 1968. And my mother told me she was a wonderful nurse. So, wow. You guys having some memories of Nurse McLaughlin throughout her life and her career, delivering. There's one of her babies right there. So absolutely wonderful. Good morning to Tamika. Carla says she's very proud of her matron and the renaming of the school. She was very loving, dedicated nurse, a 1 in a million. Fantastic. Thank you, Ms. Carla, for sharing that with us. So again, folks, these events don't happen every day. This is celebrating 10 years of the nursing program there at UCCI. So come on out and make yourself, avail yourself of these opportunities. Support Nurse McLaughlin and her family by attending the renaming ceremony this evening. And also the symposium tomorrow makes you eligible for continuing education credits. Good morning, caller. Do you have a question or comment for a guest this morning?
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, Miss Andy, and good morning to your guest.
Good morning.
I was just to ask if, as you said, community, would that include like just parents or caregivers? Because I am interested about how video games affects children.
Yes. So anybody can come out, and it's completely free to the public. Is there a register? Yes, we'll get some more details on how you need to register. I'm sure they might have refreshments, and they want to make sure they have enough numbers. But yes, absolutely, you can go, no cost.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, dear. All right. So fantastic. So is there registration? Do you prefer, especially for the symposium, would you like to have people pre-register for that?
They can, but they can also just show up at the door at this point.
Okay.
I think attendance is really important, so we want to try to make it as easy as possible. We want to get as many people into it. We've got a lot of good speakers. Let's take advantage of it.
Yes, wonderful. All right, this is fantastic. Thank you so much. So UCCI, again, folks, really commemorating a legend by renaming the school in her honor, and doing some other things. We're sure that we'll see the Board of Governors of UCCI, Mr. Gilbert McLean, should be there. He has supplied a quote, and he says, disclosing that the renaming exercise has evolved from a petition to cabinet. And he says that I'm delighted that we are once again so fittingly recognizing another Caymanian who contributed to building the Cayman Islands with all of the amenities we enjoy today. Ruth Eleanor McLaughlin stands tall among those iconic heroes, and as chairman of the board, I'm grateful for the opportunity to honor her. So this is absolutely fantastic. So let's make sure, folks, that we do our part in honoring her and her legacy and acknowledging really all Caymanians who throughout the years, I think sometimes they were doing it and they weren't even recognizing or realizing the significant impact that they were having on the lives of future generations, future Caymanian nurses and midwives who, you know, got the benefit of her teaching them, of her guiding them and mentoring them in the right direction so that they could really continue on their own career paths. Beautiful. All right. So thank you again, Dr. Robertson, for coming on the program today. And I hope that you'll have a full house both this evening and tomorrow at the symposium.
I'm sure we will. We're looking forward to it and welcome everybody to the events tonight and tomorrow. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So folks, by the way, I think summer, while you're here, let's do a shameless plug for summer registration. It has opened up.
Summer registration's open, very strong registrations to this point. We're actually going to have a second summer session this year due to popular demand. We usually had one 7-week summer session. We're now going to have 2 7-week summer sessions. So for anybody who wants to, you know, kind of start a bit early into the fall or maybe upgrade their sort of math or reading skills or something like that, they have a second chance at doing that. So the first summer session is currently open. I believe we're well over 200 registrations already. Which is quite ahead of the game because we're still in exams. So it looks like it'll be a busy summer here at UCCI as well.
Fantastic. And I've got a little flyer there. You can scan that QR code to view the class list for summer. So again, UCCI summer registration is open, folks. So go ahead and visit the website, ucci.edu.ky, for additional class scheduling and information, or scan the QR code that you see there. And you can get all the details for summer. All right, Doc.
We're also going to be announcing some courses in the BRAC in the next couple of days as well. There'll be some special short courses in the BRAC and Cayman BRAC. So we'll be putting those forward probably by the early part of next week.
Fantastic. All right, lots going on. University College of the Cayman Islands, keeping education in the forefront. So we do have Kamaria asking a question. She says, does UCCI offer online classes or is everything face-to-face? So are there any online opportunities?
There are a few, but there will be quite a few more because there's a lot of demand for it, not only here, but regionally. We have a number of courses that are regionally really well recognized, and the only way to participate in those would be online. So we are going to expand the online offerings. There are some now, but there will be quite a few more beginning as early as summer 2024.
All right, beautiful. So with faith and encouraging caregivers, healthcare professionals, and even parents to come out to the symposium. Alejandro is thinking maybe he could get into a course. You never know, Alejandro. You never know. All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Robertson. We appreciate it. Have a good one.
Thanks.
All right, folks. That's Dr. Robert Robertson there over at University College of the Cayman Islands. So, yep, lots of historic things going on. And like I said, they've had really significant numbers in terms of enrollment, breaking all sorts of records this last year. And they continue to build on their partnerships. So they're doing a number of sort of partnerships with other educational institutions around the region, around the world, to expand their offerings. So I know that they did one with New England School of, oh gosh, I can't remember the exact name now, but I think, don't they have a trip coming up for that? I need to confirm. But, you know, they partner with them so that Caymanians can get scholarships. Y'all pay attention now. Before we get back to the source, they offer these opportunities where you can get full scholarships and all sorts of stuff, and you can go to New England and you can study there and take courses there. So, you know, take advantage of these opportunities. I hate when people say, oh, well, the Caymanian young people not got nothing to do. They have a lot to do. Y'all just need to make them get up off their behinds and go fill out an application. Help them fill it out. So that they can take advantage of these amazing opportunities. I mean, I can't believe that somebody would be giving away an education. Do you all understand the impact of that? Giving you a scholarship to go abroad and study, and y'all still sitting here complaining? No, get on it. Gabby says university. Oh no, Gabby, we're talking about UCCI here. All right, Kamara says awesome. I'll definitely check it out for the online courses. Pat says symposiums are excellent public education sources. Let's get involved. Yeah, I enjoy going to them. And UCCI puts on a few throughout the year. Remember the one that they did, the whole tech one the other day that was really well attended. But yes, they put on a few. And like I said, sometimes you can't go for the whole thing, but they have such amazing speakers that you can pop in for an hour or two, or, go during your lunch break or whatever. So definitely go check it out. All parents, in my opinion, should go to the one tomorrow, because this whole thing about technology and kids playing video games and even just screen time is, one that any modern day parent is definitely struggling with. And you got to find that balance. Okay. Thank you to everybody. Miss Juanita said Miss Miller had a heart of gold. The school has been named after someone very special. As Miss Miller, I know her children will be proud. All right. Miss Faith says, bring back fruit and vegetable carvings. Fruit and vegetable carvings. Okay. All right, let's get back into the sauce, honey, shall we take a commercial break while y'all run and go get somebody said, boy, I got to get me another whole cup of coffee this morning. Let's take a little break, and then we're going to be right back after these messages.
Do you own a 1996 to 2016 Honda vehicle? There is an ongoing urgent safety recall regarding faulty Takata airbag inflators in Honda vehicles in the Cayman Islands. As affected vehicles get older, a combination of high temperatures and humidity can affect airbag inflators with the fault. If you're involved in a collision, the airbag can go off with too much explosive force, causing sharp metal fragments to shoot out and kill or seriously injure people in the vehicle. To check whether your vehicle is affected, go to HondaCayman.com/recalls. Honda will replace any defective airbag inflators completely free of charge. Contact the Car City service team to arrange this. Please take the time to check if your vehicle is affected by this urgent safety recall by going to HondaCayman.com/recalls now.
Taste of Cayman is back with a side of black-eyed peas. Friday, April 12th. The Food and Drink Festival on April 13th. Bundle tickets and save. Don't miss out on the culinary and chef demos. Delicious food and drink from over 25 vendors. Caymanian cultural performances. Live music, mixology, and more. Taste of Cayman is presented by DART with the support of many valued sponsors. Buy your tickets at tasteofcayman.org.
All right, folks, welcome back. How are you guys doing? Everybody got the coffee? All right. Okay. So we were in the middle of having this whole discussion, and I do want to, kind of wrap this up. But it's important for us to, good morning, Miss Yulene. It's important for us to do this in a way that people can understand really what is happening here. So sometimes we take a little bit of time to break things down, to explain things. So before Dr. Robertson came on, we were listening to a caller. She's a Caymanian. Some of you might recognize her voice. Listen, she one of them Caymanians that she not hiding behind nothing. She not scared of nobody. She's like, listen, this is how this all came about. This is why this one came on my radar, because she was a troublemaker. She was going around causing trouble for her own Filipino people. That's the irony of it. And not just for them, she was reporting them, and by extension, listen carefully now, honey child, by extension, she was also calling up Caymanians into this hot mess of a situation, accusing Caymanians essentially of having people work for them outside the term of their work permit. You heard what the employer said. She has a couple Filipinos working for her. And this woman called and reported them. Immigration, WORC, hauled her in. Imagine the irony of it. She's a law-abiding Caymanian doing the right thing, and a Filipino national got WORC hauling her in to question her integrity around work permits. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Miss Sandy. I just want to ask this question. Is this Filipino that's causing all this problem? Is she a Caymanian?
No.
Then why in the world don't we get her deported?
No, we're coming to that. We're coming to that. Keep listening.
Oh yeah,
we're coming to that.
Well, that's good because we don't need no more troublemakers here.
Yes, let's be clear. We're not deporting them until they've served time for breaking laws in our country. But we come into that.
Okay, good.
Stay tuned.
Sounds good to me.
All right, my dear. Thank you.
Thank you, and good morning again.
Good morning. Good morning. So, she said yes. That, and listen, I want to say this. I know we have a lot of Filipinos that listen to this program. In fact, every time I see anybody in the Filipino community, they treat me like a superstar child. They'd be like, Miss Sandy, it's you. And I said, oh, bless your little heart. Now, I want to be very clear. Like every other nationality in the world, doesn't matter where you're from, Caymanians, Jamaicans, Filipinos, English, Americans, whatever, there's good and bad. My aunt always used to say this, bless her little heart. Aunt Lottie always used to say, Sandy, there's good and bad everywhere you go. And I said, really? She said, yes. You can't judge everybody by the same, broad brush. You can't paint everybody with the same broad brush. There's good and bad everywhere you go. You got to get to know people individually to figure out, are they the good or the bad or the indifferent, right? In this community, Filipinos have a pretty good reputation. Their country prepares them for working abroad, which is something I wish every country would do, to be quite honest. They say, right, you guys are going to the Cayman Islands. They actually have a program. This is what you should do. You need to respect their laws. I guess they sit down and do a little kiki and tell each other, this is how people are in the Cayman Islands. They come here and a lot of them humble themselves. They will take jobs when they know they have the educational qualifications and so on, far exceeding what the position is. But when you have an exchange rate that is on par with the exchange rate of Jamaica, 70 something to 1 CI dollars, it's about the economics of it all. Let's be very, very clear. Okay. In fact, let me check what the, I don't know what the current exchange rate is, but let me check it. Let me check the exchange rate calculator. So we have 1 Cayman dollar, 1 Cayman Islands dollar, and then we're gonna look at Filipino. What is the Filipino dollar called? It's the what's the Filipino currency called? Looking for it. Filipino. Okay, Filipino peso. Oh, you guys have peso too? So the current exchange rate, according to this XE currency converter, is 1 CI dollar is 67.73 Filipino peso. It's good money. Okay. They're able to come here and work even at minimum wage because they make the sacrifice. They're going to live together, bunk together in homes, whatever, bed sharing. You sleep on that side of the room. I'm going to sleep on this side of the room. They're going to make it work in order to work and support their families and send money back home. However, not all Filipinos are the same. By and large, they're very respectful people. They want to follow the laws, but let me be very clear. I have come across some in my dealings that have been very, very conniving. And they think that because they have this sweet demeanor of saying, yes, ma'am, and shaking their head and smiling, that fools people. But not everybody is fooled. Like I said, you take people as you find them. Yes. And when you have a discerning spirit, you're able to keep your eyes open on people. Remember, we covered a court case not that long ago with one of them stealing from her own people. Trying to sell them during COVID travel itinerary. She was doctoring. I mean, the audacity of what she was doing. The judge was like, this was a sophisticated crime. Right? She was doctoring travel itinerary, booking for thousands of dollars. Yes, I have you booked. Here it is. And then would go back and cancel it. And the person show up at the airport thinking that they're getting on a flight to go from here on, BA or through New York or wherever, trying to get back home. And they had no travel, had given up their homes, all this kind of stuff, their little apartments here in Cayman, their little bed sharing space. She really, I was shocked that I'm like, wow, you're doing this to your own people? This is wow, this is next level. And then had the nerves to show up in court dressed to the nines with fake Gucci belt and Fendi handbag and this and that. I'm like, listen, honey child, if I was stealing from people and now I'm showing up to court, right? And I'm going to be like, begging, found guilty by the court. Now they're going to sentence me. I would show up in rags and tattered clothing to be like, Your Honor, because now she's claiming because she was so poor that she's stealing money from these people to do what? Oh, she fell in hard times to go buy Fendi handbag and Gucci belt. And I don't care if it's fake or real. Why are you trying to pretend to be something that you're not? When in fact, what you are is a common thief. But she was sophisticated. She even doctored. Listen to this. One person, she was supposed to return the money through the bank. And she's like, okay, here's the proof that I sent the money. You can go to CNB and collect your money. The person went to the CNB and the money still wasn't there. But I sent it. She doctored the transfer documents. I don't even know how the woman did that. She doctored the transfer documents to say that she had sent money. Well, CNB must have made a mistake. You got to wait. And the person waiting and waiting. Oh, now they not see their money. Remember the other Filipino mother that we had featured that was working at the salon, stealing from co-workers at the salon, having children here outside of her marriage because she got a husband in the Philippines, right? Having these children here that she cannot send back to the Philippines because their culture is a little bit different. I hate to tell you, but the chances of you sending back a half-breed Caribbean mix-up baby, you're not coming to Cayman and having a baby as a Filipino with a Jamaican that is not your husband, or even a Dominican that is not your husband, and think you can send that child back home to your husband and the husband can take care of the child. The child would face so much discrimination. That's just not how their culture works. Now, like I said, there's good, bad, ugly, and in between. So you take people as you find them. A lot of Filipinos marry, just the Asian culture being what it is. For them, and this is a generalization, but it tends to be very true amongst Asian cultures, even in Indian cultures, Malaysian cultures, and so on, marriages remain very much a transactional situation. It's not about love. You don't have to love the person. And if you love the person, let me tell you how, for most of them, how it works in this day and age. If you love the person you're loving is of a higher financial stature than you. And they tend to be a lot of foreign nationals. I'm just telling y'all this is how it works. Thailand. All y'all have to do is go on the internet, go to YouTube. You see all these Americans, most of them old white men, moving to Thailand. Oh, I found my Taiwanese bride or whatever. Child, please. They're being taken advantage of. In fact, there was one that I watched recently. Hold on, let me see if I can find this one. This one was so interesting. He had actually married this Filipino woman. And oh my gosh, she ended up taking him to the cleaners, but she did it in a way. Hold on. I gotta share a couple. Y'all go back and watch this later. There's this one, Money, Love, and Murder. The tragic story of Stephen and Evelyn. So this was a Filipino woman that actually murdered her husband. Poor him, he didn't come out alive. All about money. And I mean, they're not the only people murdering you for money, but you got to be careful because unfortunately, let's be very honest, a lot of them come from compromised financial, real poverty. And so they'll do anything to get out. And marrying somebody that they don't love is no big deal. They'll marry you, have children with you, and a lot of times even be a really good wife, and they're like, okay, this is the price that I pay to get a better stature in life. We see it happening in the Cayman Islands as well. Some of them going after these old men and their pensions, the seamen and stuff like that. They're like, well, the Honduran women been doing it. Time for us to move in and show them we can cook, we can take care of you, blah, 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 the same way. Mm-hmm. So, y'all need to be careful. I'm not going too deep into that situation. Here's this one guy. This was his Taiwanese wife. Expat's Thai wife disappears, and so does his fortune. And then it gets worse. I think she actually left him all the children and stuff too. Y'all need to go read these headlines, right? Because I mean, there are people who will target you just because they think, like I said, watch these videos later, just because they think that you have money. And you have money. When the exchange rate is 1 to 67, even if you got $10,000 in the bank, that's good money. Remember the Caymanian taxi driver? What was his name? He was featured on that Filipino show where he claims that the woman took advantage of him and he built her a whole house in the Philippines. And then he's never even got to kiss her knee. Y'all remember that story? What was his name again? We did a whole feature on him. Oh God, what his name is again? On the website. Oh Lord, I'm trying to remember what his name is now. Anyway, he was complaining about how, she took him to the cleaners. Oh yes, West Bay taxi driver claims Filipina girlfriend is a gold digger. Duh. First of all, she like half your age. She's young enough to be your daughter. That should have been a sign right there that this was not for love. Somebody said Swifty. Richard is his name, but he wasn't swift. As it turns out, the Filipino woman was the one who was swift, taking him from his money. I'm just giving y'all some examples of where people have been taken advantage of. So pay attention, folks. See him there, poor little thing. And he is so foolish. I got to tell you the truth. This man don't have any sense. The video was online where he went and did this interview with that. What's the Filipino guy? He's like a real celebrity in the Philippines. Richard Powery. He claims to like Filipino women, and he's had other relationships with them before. And guess what? In order to get to their heart, he is always giving them money. That's what he does. And a lot of them they will play the game with you, sir. They don't mind playing the game because you're the one who the fool, not them, because they know the real score. Good morning, caller.
I'll help you out in there. He's Rafi Tolfo, and he's a senator in the Philippines now.
What is the name again?
Rafi Tolfo in action.
Rafito?
Rafi Tolfo.
Oh, let me see if I can find him. Rafi Tolfo. Yes. Thank you so much.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Yes, as you guys can see, we got a lot of Filipinos listening this morning. They're very interested. Listen, he is the dude in the Philippines. Rafi, R-A-F-F-Y, Tulfo, T-U-L-F-O, in action. 27.6 million subscribers on YouTube alone. Yes, honey child. And he's like the CMR of the Philippines. He brings them all the sauce, everything. So he actually had this Richard guy on his show. He did an interview with him. Let me see if I can find it again. Talking about how he, see him here? 4 years ago. Lord Jesus. Do y'all remember this? Y'all might not remember, but I remember. Talking about how he was taken advantage of. I say, you can imagine our own people going all the way to the Philippines to be made fools off. I mean, come on now. See him here? He's being interviewed by the guy. Look at him. Poor little thing. Richard Powery complainant. Yes, sir. Rafi brings the sauce. Look at that. He telling how he was taken advantage of, how much money he sent her, the whole 9 yards, honey child. See that? And he not even get to kiss the woman properly. I was like, hold on a second. I gotta be sending you all this money. They call her on the phone and ask her questions. I gotta be sending you all this money to the Philippines. And I not even get a little kiss on the cheek. Oh, honey child, I don't think so. That's not gonna work out. No. Anyway, poor Richard. I hope he learned his lesson, but I was kind of skeptical that he's one of them that would never learn. Look at him. He all stressed out. All this money. He had to drive in taxi to make money to send to this woman. No, sir. Look at her. Oh, she keep getting excuses. Why I can't come visit her. I said, that's because she got a man in the Philippines. What do you? She got one popo over there that she dealing with. She not interested in you. You're old man to her. You have to double up on the Viagra to deal with her. I hope you know. Poor thing. I don't feel sorry for him because he's a fool. And what does the good book say about fools and their money? Well, it tells you a fool and your money should soon part, honey child. And that's exactly him. Mm-hmm. Yep. So there he is, being interviewed, and how this and that. And he met her online, and one big scandal that whole situation was. This one actually had 5.3 million views, and it was posted 4 years ago. And this was a part 2. It was actually a 2-part interview. You can imagine. I mean, honest to God, a Caymanian getting 5.3 million views for your sus and your mix-up. But he's not the only one. Anybody fans of 90 Day Fiancé? If you are, you will know about quite a few of them happen to be Filipinos. I'm just saying, on 90 Day. Them and the Russians, they be running the show over 90 Day Fiancé. But hold on here now. The one girl from oh God, she married this little country bumpkin. Poor him. He not got no sense from America. They have a little baby now. What is her name? Anyway, hold on, let me try and. Anyway, the other day she was lying, set up a GoFundMe page and lying about, yes, Brandon and Mary from 90 Day Fiancé the other way. Y'all know this one? So she is lying about having cancer. Set up a GoFundMe page. This is a Filipina young lady named Mary. Set up a GoFundMe page about, oh, she has cancer. Trying to control this little young boy. He don't need to be married to nobody, much less her. Very conniving, very duplicitous. Turns on the tears like waterworks. Poor thing. This little boy, he not got a chance. He don't even know the mind games that this narcissist is playing on him. Yeah? The other day, she set up a GoFundMe page. Hold on, Mary. What the heck her name is? Mary from 90 Day GoFundMe page. And the GoFundMe people had to take it down. Because apparently, she is a liar. Mary Denuccio. She didn't have colon cancer. The girl was lying and scandalizing people, but oh, I have colon cancer. She went on Instagram. Please help me. I have colon cancer. More of Mary's lies and scams discovered on Twitter. This girl is just deceptive. Right? So they set up this GoFundMe page, begging people, sending them pictures and this, that. Look at her twerking. Yeah, y'all don't know the real Mary. Going buying laptop with people GoFundMe money, not paying no medical bills. The point is, folks, scammers are out there hard. And there's some people that will work you harder than others. Be smarter than that. Let's get back to our story now about the marriage scammers. Yeah? So let's go back to the conversation. Because, listen. How did you sort it out? I'm curious. I have a knack. I tell you, in a previous life, I must have been a detective. Because when people start talking to me and I hear them, I know the politicians get upset because they think that they're unique, but they're not unique. It's just that, you know, when they come on the show, I treat them the same way. Listen to the questions that I ask her because I'm a person that pays attention. As the good book says, and as my Aunt Lottie always used to say, the devil is in the details. When I hear you skirting around issues and I ask you a direct question and you can't answer it directly, I'm like, why did you not answer my question directly? There's a reason why you can't answer a question directly, because you know you're lying and you know that you're making up the story as you go along. So she said, oh, that was handled by my lawyer. And listen to the question I came back with. It's already sorted out? How did you sort it out?
In the Philippines.
I said, how did you sort it out? She said, in the Philippines. I asked her again, how did you sort it out? I'm curious.
Yeah, because I've already talked to my legal advisors and they've already sorted out.
Hear the stammering now. I've already talked to my legal advisors, and they've already sorted it out. Listen to me. If they had sorted it out, the response to that would be direct. You would be able to say, I have an annulment already in process or completed. You wouldn't have to say, around the bend, around the corner, up the street to West Bay, through Goat Yard and come back again. Because that's what I heard when I heard, oh, they have already sorted out. I'm not getting a direct answer. Answer the question, woman.
Yeah, because I've already talked to my legal advisors, and they've already sorted out.
Yeah, but how is it sorted out?
Yeah, because I know that is not registered.
It's not registered. When did they sort that?
Both
when?
of us, me and my ex-husband, Deborah.
Oh, pause. You see, when you seek to deceive people, your lips trying to tell the truth. Y'all heard listen to me. When I tell y'all I should have been a detective, I'm not telling a word of lie. This is called a micro slip. You heard what she said? Me and my ex-husband. She almost said me and my husband because the man is still her husband. Listen carefully again. I want y'all to listen to exactly what she just said. She almost identified the man as her husband because he's her husband. Hear it?
It's not registered.
It's not registered. When did they sort that?
Both of us, me and my ex-husband, Deborah. We know that it's not.
You heard it right there? She was going to call the man her husband because that is the truth. Even when you're trying to lie, the truth is trying to peek its way out. It's trying to find its way. She almost said me and my ex-husband.
It's not registered. So we both moved on to our lives.
Mm-hmm. When you say it's not registered, so that means that when you got married in May of last year, you were legally not married to Habert?
Yes.
So
that
you were no longer married to him.
Yes.
Oh, because we have a document here, which is like a marriage registry. That actually shows the search was done September the 18th of 2023. And it says that you were still married in the Philippines.
Really?
Yes.
Really? Who did that?
What? What do you mean who did that? That's not a question. Either you were married or you were not married. Or what you're talking about? Who did that? Who did what? Find out the truth? Honey, child, you married or you're not married? You see what she's doing? She's not even answering some of the questions. She's come out. Well, who did that? What are you asking questions for? We're asking you the questions. Yes, that was a Freudian slip. And she does quite a few more in the Philippines.
Really?
Yes. Really?
Who did that?
It's a shock to her.
Can I respectfully know who did that and who?
Well, I mean. Can she respectfully know? Listen, I have to listen. My Filipino people will understand this. I'm not really making fun of y'all, but I am making fun of y'all because y'all are so pleasant, even when you're lying straight through your teeth, right? She's like, may I respectfully know who did that? I'm like, oh, that sounds so sweet. But you got to listen to what the woman's actually saying. She wants to know who exposed her, who got the truth, who got this marriage certificate query to show that you're still married. Well, y'all heard the Caymanian caller this morning. She says she did that. But you see, people were already onto her. I want y'all to understand the timeline of what has transpired. People were already onto her. The marriage officer, she got married in May. By July, a lawyer had contacted the marriage officer and said, we believe we have a fraudulent situation on our hands. And the marriage officer was like, what? So the marriage officer canceled, reported her to the general registrar here in the Cayman Islands, and then they canceled her marriage certificate in Cayman. So as this woman is sitting there yesterday, lying through her teeth on the phone with me, she well knew that she had been reported to the authorities. She well knew that her marriage in Cayman had already been pulled. Y'all understand the level of deception that this woman was carrying on yesterday? I didn't get those details till after the show, but she would have known. They would have notified her. Yeah? I have an email here dating back to October where somebody contacted the RCIPS. That would have been the second time the RCIPS was contacted. And then again by this Caymanian employer, that was 3 different parties notified both the RCIPS and Works about this situation. And neither, as of yesterday, had done anything about it. This is concerning. This is a problem. Because we have a mandate where our deputy governor gets publicly on platforms and says marriages of convenience, fake marriages, fraudulent marriages, all of this is a problem. Because now we even know that criminals are entering into these marriages of convenience and doing the most, getting access to Cayman. Once they get access to Cayman, they can get access to America. They can get a visa. And that's what the 2 of these were planning to do. They wanted to go to Canada, so they had plans afoot of how to get into Canada as well. Those of you who sat back yesterday saying, we don't care about this, this has nothing to do with us, you need to stand up, wake up, and open your eyes. Johan, are you in class this morning? Let me ask you a question. When the United States of America starts to find out that we're allowing people to come through our jurisdiction, marry and enter into bigamous relationship, fraudulent relationships, in order to gain easy access to a U.S. visa or eventually entry into the U.S. through our jurisdiction, what do you think that's going to do to our reputation? When Canada finds out that we are doing and allowing this kind of foolishness and, oh, we don't care because she's not Caymanian, that I got nothing to do with us, what do you think that does to our reputation? Caller, good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Morning.
Sorry to interrupt you, ma'am. The annulment in the Philippines takes years before that get approved. She don't have the kind of money for the annulment to pay.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
Thank
I
you
don't know
very
how
much,
much.
ma'am.
Thank you. I mean, I don't know how much an annulment costs, but the point is you can't get married if you don't have one. I mean, let's be very, very clear. So don't be so small-minded. I mean, I do find it interesting when our people say, well, that's none of my business. I don't care. Make them Filipinos do whatever the hell they want. I want to address somebody else who had a little comment to put in here. Todd Dearsaran, he decided to jump in the comment section. Sometimes, like I said, don't trouble if trouble don't trouble you. So here he is, mind your own business. Let people live their lives. Todd, I don't know you from the man in the moon, but I'm going to tell you something. The things that I've heard about you, I would suggest you shut up. Okay? Just take it as a strong recommendation that you don't ever want CMR to put your name out there and ask people to come forward and tell us what they know about you. I'm just saying, maybe what you need to do is to keep your mouth shut and don't have people start asking very strong questions about your business dealings in this community. Because already people messaging me about you this morning after seeing your comment. Nobody in their right mind, let me be very, very clear. No one in their right mind is going to see someone deceiving and carrying out unlawful and illegal activities in your country and sit down and talk about, oh, that's their business. Leave people alone. Let them live their lives. Todd, do you say the same thing about the drug dealer in West Bay? I'm just curious where you draw the line. Do you say the same thing when somebody gets shot and shoots up the play field? Do you say, oh, no, leave them people alone. Let them mind their own business? No, Bobo. I don't know what you were going on with in Trinidad, where y'all have the kidnapping capital of the entire region and then probably second or third in the world. But let me be very, very clear. Don't bring that attitude of non-compliance and unlawfulness to the Cayman Islands. Because if somebody will break one law, they will break other laws. When somebody is dishonest at their core, and we can see this woman is out there causing all kind of trouble, this isn't a one-off thing. People like this will be deceptive and scam people and do the most. They got married because their intentions was, it's easier for us to move to Canada and get this Canadian visa. It's easier for us to apply for a visa in the United States of America. And they're using the Cayman Islands now to fortify their so-called fake union. Why? Because we are a trusted jurisdiction. You get a marriage certificate from the Cayman Islands. Oh yeah, well, we can trust them. Soon these foreign jurisdictions are going to say, hold on, Cayman is not doing their due diligence. And because they're slack and not doing their due diligence, we are clamped down on all of them. Y'all see what's happening with the visa situation now with the ESTA? They're canceling our ESTAs left, right, and center. They're telling Caymanian politicians, lawyers, everybody, you're not getting approved for a visa. Y'all better wake up. Stop allowing people, and I don't care if it's a Johan, a John LaRue, I saw his comment, I said, we don't care about this, or a Todd, imported ones, I don't care. If people do not appreciate the necessity for our country and our people, whether you're here as a resident, a work permit holder, a Caymanian, whatever, to keep our noses clean and to remain above breaches of the law. If you don't understand why that is important, I would invite you, if you're not a Caymanian, to please pick up your bags and leave the jurisdiction. Do us the favor, take your slack attitude back to Trinidad, where crime is already out of control and y'all don't care about nothing. Take it back there, so. Okay? Because like I said, when you start to talk and you start to open your mouth, then I start to get messages from different people, including, allow me to edify you this morning. Yes, honey child. Let me edify you with one of the messages that I got about you, Todd. Somebody say, yeah, he need to hush his mouth. Because how about the fact that he need to pay some bills? All these people that he owe money to. I said, oh, snaps. Y'all not ready for that conversation. You see, you're not on the CMR radar, and I suggest you stay off the radar. This person says, this would not have happened without you. I'm grateful. Oh, no, hold on. The one about Todd now. Oh, yeah. Hold on. Let me find that message. Anyway, they basically said, tell Todd to go pay his bills, pay his workers, and that $1 million house that you were trying to get. Yeah, that didn't happen because, your credit not so good after all. I'm just saying, sometimes you sit back in the back of the classroom and you have nothing to say. Okay. Just keep your mouth shut. Don't say nothing. Because when you start to talk, so that these people say, tell him try and hush his mouth. Because we don't know. Hear what one person say, this person from Trinidad, so they would know. They said, oh, Sandy, I can't wait to hear about Todd and his mess. He's a cheap bastard. He had a friend do some work for him and still owing the guy money. I said, hear you now. And next one said, oh yeah, hot pepper soup. Chat about that. Yes. Tell us about Todd. You don't have the best reputation yourself. So when you're telling us, mind your own business, let people live their lives, that's because you're standing in front of the mirror and you know your Pandora's box and your closet full of skeletons is right behind you. My recommendation is just be quiet, honey child. Good morning, caller.
Morning, Sandy. How are you?
Right here, honey child.
So I didn't really get to watch the show yesterday because I was really, really busy when you tried to call me first, and I just happened to glance across and saw the messages. But this whole thing with the marriages and stuff, as you know, I'm a marriage officer.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday, I did some digging, and there is a registry in the Philippines that you can contact to find out if someone is married or not. So yes, the lady lied, but at the same time, I'm not sure who the marriage officer were. They obviously never did their job.
Well, no.
Because if they did their
hold
job,
on. Now I'm going to take up from Ms. Joy this morning because I'm going to tell you that after the show, I started to dig because there was a question of her role in this situation, right? A marriage officer doesn't have a responsibility that you take the person's word when they tell you that they've never been married before, or that if they were divorced or whatever. You ask the questions and they tell you, and there's a certain degree of, okay, we're going to take people at their word. There's nothing in the law that requires a marriage officer to verify the marital status of someone before they marry them. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yes, you're a marriage officer. When she found out, so they got married in May, by July, she was contacted with questions and documents. When she found that out, she took immediate action, notified the general registrar, and had the marriage that she had just done struck off, basically. So she did her part. I don't want y'all to think that Miss Joy sat down and did nothing here. And on top of that, hold on now, this was July of 2023. On top of that, she notified the police and she notified WORC. You know who has done nothing as of yesterday's date? Neither one of those government agencies. That's who y'all need to talk about. Don't talk about Miss Joy because she did what she needed to do. Who didn't do anything is WORC. As you heard the caller when she contacted them in October, she was told by them that, oh, this ain't got nothing to do with us. Yes, it does.
The police?
The WORC said it ain't got nothing to do with us. Take it to the police. But hear the thing now. One of the reasons why they were doing it is because she wanted to get, I don't know if it was him or her, but you know, when you have a spouse working in Cayman, they line up your rollover. Right? So even if technically you came before your spouse and the person came after, they line it up so that you both can leave the jurisdiction together. They were getting more time that way. So this is a work issue. This is a police matter and WORC. And now it also becomes a border control issue because they're about to run from the jurisdiction. The marriage in Cayman was nullified. And the marriage officer Joy Bastille did her part once she became aware. So I don't want us to put, and it's been struck from the register, I don't want us to put blame where blame shouldn't be put. Put blame on the primary offender, which is the woman and the man getting married. Put blame on WORC and the police who sat back all these months and did nothing. They allowed this woman to continue to work in this jurisdiction. In fact, she's even changed jobs.
They do it all the time, Sandy. They don't really care about anything. I think it's more to do about the money when it comes to work, because a lot of stupidity have gone on in this country. People have been fired from jobs because of advancing sexual advances towards employees, and it's put in their letters that why they were released, and they've been issued another work permit doing the works, with that information being disclosed.
And you see, this is why when Caymanians say, right? I was just saying, France Manderson saying, oh, you know, these marriages are convenience, blah, blah, blah. Caymanians say, Sandy, we bring the information. We report it to WORC. We report it. Nobody does anything. This is a perfect example of why people don't report anything.
Exactly. I agree with you on that.
This is it right here. Right? At least 3 people that I know about. I have the other email here. At least 3 people reported this fraudulent marriage to the police and WORC, and nothing was done. Come now. How is that possible? What faith does that give us that the system works at all? See the email here that was sent October of last year? And all of these people were not aware that other people were also now reporting the same thing.
So has work commented or said anything as to why? I mean, obviously they say that's not their problem, but it is their problem.
It's their problem. It's definitely their problem. Well, they gotta do something. They gotta do something. They gotta do something after this expose. I mean, come on now.
Well, you know, as it always say, things got to go really bad or pear-shaped for government to really do anything. So
that's
just
situation.
How it is.
Very, very sad.
Something has to happen, you know. But I mean, the whole thing is I can't speak. I didn't know it was this Joyce that they were related, that married them and whatever situation were. But like I said to you yesterday, I obviously do my checks because I would have personally called these people and find out for my personal stuff, even though it's not in the law, just to secure myself.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
sometimes,
you can't put that burden on a marriage officer because, as we can see, these people, they're like professional liars. Now, you can imagine this woman sat on the call with me yesterday, knowing that her Cayman marriage had been nullified, and lied to me, talking about the man in the Philippines as her ex-husband. So she already knew that this was something that has come up. Yes. And that had caused problems for her. And she sat there yesterday and still lied to me on the airwaves for everybody to hear.
She should have been arrested then and sentenced and deported.
No, sir. Thank you, Carl.
A lot of stuff going on here, Sandy. Our laws need to be, a lot of laws need to be tweeted in this country.
It's about lack of enforcement. Because there's no reason why she should not have been dealt with. The police were notified. Official statements and reports were made to the RCIPS. But you see, had that been me, the second somebody call and say, oh, Sandy gave me cross-eye today, they come knocking at my door. Have that same energy for everybody who breaks the laws in our country.
Yeah. I mean, I know when it comes to work, a lot of things going. Cause look at, is it Jametta, the girl that came here to work for Palm Heights? Over 100 and something letters went in complaints against her, and her permit just lingered on there until she applied for the 1-year grant. I don't even know she's still here. And the amount of complaints that went into work and pension and labor, people are losing their jobs. These are Caymanians, and they did nothing. Nothing.
No, sir.
So who do you complain to?
Well, Leroy said, who are you going to call? Not Ghostbusters, call CMR. I guess you can complain to us. Thank you, honey Shell.
Yeah. Okay, girl, take care.
Thank you. 936-2626 is the telephone number. This is a hot mess, but I want to make it very, very clear. Like I said, right? I am not, y'all see the email here. I'm not going to throw Miss Joy and her organization under the bus. Let's put the blame where the blame should be put. Popo, y'all should try to stay under the radar too. I'm telling Todd he must stay under the radar. I'm telling the rest of you at the RCIPS, just do your jobs. That's all we want you to do. Y'all got multi-million-dollar budgets. Yes? Somebody say, oh, they're too busy solving crimes in America and the major shootings. If they can't deal with the small stuff, we got what we see as the small stuff. And like I said, it has larger implications. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Auntie Sandra. How you doing?
Morning,
today?
honey chow. How are you?
Yeah, tell me something. Yeah, I don't know. So you're telling me that people on work permits can get married?
Of course they get married. And here's the other thing. The RCIPS at least have 5 other reports of bigamous relationships here.
What a mess! What a mess this island is in. I not gonna say no more. I've been wondering that for years. On work permit into your country can get married.
Well, we let them in prison. Well, hello, honey child. We're letting people in prison. Hold on now. We're letting prisoners marry people in marriages of convenience, and we can't even see that coming. And I could see that one a mile away.
Like I always say, incompetence. That is it. Nothing else to call it. I mean, you gotta let. We wouldn't have no problem if you didn't let the people get married. We wouldn't have no problem. This would be one problem that is non-existent. If this Filipino woman is on permit.
Both of them are permit holders. But they already have their eyes on the next prize, you see. They just need to build the foundation of lies in order to get there. And the foundation of lies is to get that Cayman marriage certificate, which claims that she's never been married before and has been working in the Cayman Islands and being a good citizen, a good person working here. And next thing you know, she gets access to U.S. visa. She gets access to staying longer in Cayman because of rollover alignment. Should they get access to Canada and all kind of foolishness?
Yeah, I know. But you see, we giving them the material to put themselves up on that way. The same Cayman Islands people giving them the material to build They'll not up. We shouldn't be giving them into what you call it, stuff to put themselves in that position because they're here on work permit. That's all. They're not here they're just here on a ego trip. We know, and a material trip to make their life better. But still, we shouldn't be giving them. They shouldn't have that off the box that came on your people. No, we got to spend resources now to deal with this mess that could have been non-existent if they had just put their foot down and said, "Well, nobody not getting married yet." If they're not Caymanians, to hell with it. Pardon my French. That's it. And not easy to get divorced in the Philippines. From time you married.
We went through all of that. Yeah, it's an annulment, not a divorce that they have to get. But yes.
Yeah. All right, then.
Thank you, my dear.
Incompetent in this island, boy.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Miss Olive says, what's wrong if I want to get married here, which me and my husband is Jamaican? I don't think that anybody really can go as far as saying that foreign nationals can't come to Cayman and get married. I mean, we can't do that. But I think we need to make sure that we are not allowing people to abuse the system. So Live Happy says, boy, Cayman attracts the worst people. We no longer have quality expats in Cayman, pure rubbish, getting married and having babies on work permit. Cayman is the conduit. Jarian says, in the old days, you'd have to go to your pastor together and get counseling before getting married. I mean, that's fine. But the pastor not checking no documentation. They're lying to the pastor every Sunday too. Talking about they're good Christians and they're not. So they can get counseling all they want. This is not about that. This is not about counseling. I have business with counseling. We have almost a 50% divorce rate. That's a whole other situation. That's a whole other show. That's not what this show is about. This show is about people who lie, who falsify documents, who lied on an app. You fill out an application. You have to do bans and all kind of stuff, publicly post that stuff up in order to get married. And as small as the Filipino community is here in Cayman, this woman actually thought, this is the part that's unbelievable, that she could get away with this. She has a toddler for the husband in the Philippines. So I see Rough C saying, well, how do you know she wasn't running from abuse in the Philippines, honey child? People make up all kind of stories now that it's convenient for them. Keep in mind, the husband in the Philippines didn't know she was getting married. She has a young child with that same husband in the Philippines. The way you run from a bad relationship or a bad husband isn't by falsifying and making up lies. That's not how you run from a situation. You don't become a lawbreaker yourself in order to run from what you say are bad people. That's not how the law works. Somebody said, call Richard, asked him if he got back his money. Sandra, regarding Todd, he does have $1 million home that FCIB is now selling. I think that's called foreclosure for non-payment of the mortgage. Yes. This is karma for what he did to his brother with the business that they had at Cayman Bay. I tell y'all, sometimes you just zip it and lock it. Because when people start thinking about you, they're like, oh, Todd is around. Oh, yeah, his house in foreclosure too. Him and the brother, both hot messes, if the truth be known. But anyway. Morning, Sandy. I hope that the government will change the work permit law to close the loophole in respect of this marriage issue. Well, this isn't a loophole, I want to be very honest with you. This isn't a loophole. This really is about enforcing the law that's already there. It's against the law to get married to multiple people and willfully do it. That's bigamy, right? Someone said, I think Richard is still trying after those Pinos and getting screwed. Poor him. What a damn fool. Richard never had a woman in his life that I know of and just promised a little bun. But a fool will always be a fool. Well, honey child, is this Todd a doctor? No, he's the other side of the doctor. Somebody said, yep, his name is Richard. The Viagra. The Viagra. It's common practice where Todd Distran is from. Remember, they're #1 kidnappers probably in the world. I wasn't going to quite give him the world because I know that used to be Colombia, but I know they're up there. But he's as dishonest as the friggin' Filipinos. Like I tell you, no honest person sits back and defends this kind of behavior and be like, why are we talking about this, Sandy? We don't care. We should care. This person says you should check what food costs there. Thanks for calling out Johan, old fool. Lord have mercy. Good morning, my sister. This is a real scammer deal. This another one. Jamaican scammer gets irritated and cursing continues. Oh Lord, doesn't sound like I can play that one on the radio. Hi, Miss Sandra. It took me a long time to build up the courage to reach out to you. I'm watching your show now, and here you mentioned about a GoFundMe. Do you assist persons that's diagnosed with cancer privately? Oh, thanks and evidence. Okay. We don't really. I'm gonna be honest with you. We don't really, sometimes people send us and if you have a connection to Keyman, we'll post it as a story or a post. But we don't really, get into that to that extent, unfortunately. Because, we'd be doing GoFundMe pages every other day and we can't vouch for people. I hate to tell y'all, but we can't vouch for people because there's so much going on out there. Sharon says, I was married by Miss Joy 24 years ago, and it was done legally and no lies told. I'm thankful for Miss Basteo. Back in the day, it wasn't like this. Yes, and Miss Basteo, thank you, Sharon. And by the way, congratulations. 24 years that's a lifetime, honey child. Good for you. The truth of the matter is, Sharon, so much has changed. Miss Basteo has done an amazing job marrying all sorts of people over the years, and they have changed marriage and made it more affordable and, so on for people to have beautiful ceremonies here in the Cayman Islands without spending $30,000 on a wedding. Strong Wilt says, Sandy, anybody can get married. The problem is she was still married to somebody else. Exactly. I'm not going to go as far as saying, ban foreign nationals from getting married in the Cayman Islands. No. That would be verging on what the Russians or Cubans might do. No, people can get married. Whatever. Like I said, half of you can get divorced after you get married. So I guess it's good business for the lawyers and everybody else in between. All right, let me read some of your comments. We need to catch up on comments a little bit. Siobhan Barry says, nah, you didn't stir the pot as far as I'm concerned. You did the right thing, caller. These people need to stop coming here and doing dirt. You're in the next man's country. Everton says that's what you get when you're a troublemaker. She need to send back to her country because she's a troublemaker. She should keep her mouth shut and stop making trouble for those other people that she surrounds herself with. She deserves what she gets. Kim Maria says, police now trouble them. If it was ever Jamaican, it's a problem. Them a watch for we bung. Meanwhile, the other cork a leak. Yes, I think I got you. What is that? What they watch for we bung? What's a we bung? What's the bung part? Meanwhile, the other cork a leak. I'll translate. I don't know exactly what bung means, but I'll translate. So in other words, what Maria is saying, they're always looking at Jamaicans saying, yeah, they the scammers, they the troublemakers, blah, blah, blah. And the other cork over there, so leaking too. So keep your eyes on everybody. Jim, good morning, Jim. He says, the sad part, Sandy, is I've said it before and will continue to say it. People forget where they came from and take advantage of many. So sad. He goes on to say that some humans are easily suckered in. That's for sure. Especially when they got Viagra that they can get a prescription for. Gabby says, whatever happened to Everton and the land him and fiance bought here, I didn't watch the show. I didn't watch it either, but both of them were fools, honey child. They both deserve to be scammed. Some people just want to go on reality TV for the clout, you see? So Rough C says, has it ever occurred to anybody that she's running away from an abusive relationship as she had? And your evidence for that would be not a damn thing. We can speculate, but what I can tell you is I doubt seriously that the husband, who's now depressed in the Philippines over this whole situation, doesn't even want to talk to anybody about it. He's embarrassed because everybody in the Filipino community knows exactly what she did to him. He probably has never even raised an angry voice at this woman. But we don't know. We don't know the ins and out of either relationship. She could be abused by the man here. We wouldn't know. We don't have the benefit of any of that. So we can speculate, I suppose, all we want. I'm going to show y'all something because it's so interesting. Like I said, the husband now that she had here after yesterday's show, he went and took his social media down. You see, this is what people do now, honey child. Once CMR is hot on their trail, they turn around and they start scrubbing their social media history. It is very, very interesting. He's even gone now and crossing out pictures of people on his social media, taking photos down. He works in the bartending business. I see you, son. I know exactly what you did. What you don't realize is that we were watching your page before the story even came out, because I'm aware that what they now do is they now scrub. As soon as they get arrested or whatever, they start scrubbing social media, because they were the ones putting their relationship out there for everybody to see. Yes, they sure were. Right? So he was doing that. It's so funny because, Calvin, this leads me to believe that you're not an innocent person in all of this, that you are very much aware of what your wife was up to and what she was doing. Otherwise, why you feel so guilty that you have to go and take down everything off of social media, showing that the two of you were in a relationship, and people congratulating you in a marriage that has since been struck off the register, and you tell them, oh, thank you, thanks, yeah, we're happily married, thank you so much. That means that you know exactly what this woman was doing. You're part of the scam too. Y'all were posting these pictures up. Yeah, y'all did this. Showing a happily married couple. So you see the bride there with some beautiful flowers? Yes, honey child. I see you. I see you being part of the problem. It's a hot mess and then some. There's a picture of him and it looks like some of his co-workers where he's doing a very nasty thing with his fingers in his mouth. All of that since then, since yesterday, has been scrubbed off the internet and deleted. Y'all think you're smart, but you're not outsmarting me, honey child. God did not make a dummy when he made me. I hate to tell you that. Nope. Gabby says, before my divorce was even final, I was referring to him as my ex-husband. Oh, geez, some peace. Now he's referred to as the mistake/crosses. Commenting because she was like, husband, oops, ex-husband. Curlin says, Miss Sandra, I hope that the Cayman community keep their eyes and ears open, because the topic here is not just for show. You're here to educate. Well, I sure hope so too. But you know, I have my suspicions that half of y'all, almost 600 people in the live stream, are simply not, actually we've gone over 600 now between Instagram. Most of y'all just not paying attention. Dee Dee says, so tell me again, why everything was swept under the mat by the authorities? So wrong. All I can tell you is they got the report, they got the file. Oh, bigamy, file 13, put it in that drawer over there. We're going to deal with the traffic matter instead. Faded Mary Jean says, how is she even still in Cayman working on a permit? Shouldn't her permit be automatically revoked? You called her at work yesterday. How is that even a thing? I don't understand, Cayman. Somebody said call her again this morning. Nat B says this is another reason why Caymanians lately have been denying renewals of visas or cancellations of Estes for Caymanian. Listen, y'all messing up your own name when you're not paying attention. There was a time when Caymanians had a rock solid reputation. I remember returning and living in Cayman, and I went on a trip through Miami, and I think it was Miami. There was an officer treating another officer, another immigration officer, right? So this is before Homeland Securities was formed. And I remember him saying, oh, this batch, they're from the Cayman Islands. They're fine. They don't cause no trouble. They're just here to shop and go back home. And I just looked at him and smiled. I'm like, aw, that's so nice to have a reputation that we just want to come to America, drop a little bit of money at Dolphin Mall, go to Sawgrass, do a little bit of shopping, and go back home. All of that has changed. Our people have been caught taking drugs into the United States of America. So now they're hauling us in the line just like everybody else, right? We had people money laundering. We have had people putting guns in refrigerators. That doesn't just impact those criminals that do it. It impacts all of us. Cayman does not have a stellar reputation anymore. Leroy says, who are you going to call? Ghostbusters, not CMR. What a hot mess. Cameron says, you're playing in CMR's sandbox now. Watch your flex. Todd. Shaka Zula says, yes, scold that Trini as well. He should know better. His country is overrun with Venezuelans and he bringing foolishness to Cayman. You know, the irony of it is they want to come to Cayman for the safety and the peace and this and that. And then they come here with their own criminal mindset and behavior. Don't do it. Caymanians, y'all shouldn't accept that behavior from nobody. Not yourselves and definitely not from other people. Siobhan says, I'm tired of these disgusting people and their no-care attitude. So that means that you want crime and the sort to run amok and nobody to say F you type of people. Oh, gosh. Sandra says, yes, Sandy. I agree that these users and abusers come here specifically to use our God-blessed sophisticated islands as a stepping stone. It's despicable. Cameron says the soup chunky and spicy this morning. Evelyn says the tea is too hot. Lord have mercy. Sip it slowly. Tammy says, I wonder if Annette soup ready. Who's Annette? Need some Manish water with a hot Scotch bonnet pepper. Who's Annette? Johan says, you see why some callers with limited or no facts are dangerous in CMR? The marriage officer was being blamed. Thankfully, Madlock, aka Auntie Sandy, did her digging from getting Miss Joy from being defamed. Well, if you had paid attention yesterday from the onset, I said this really isn't, I mean, I'm going to get more information, but there's nothing in the law that requires a marriage officer to do the due diligence. Imagine the burden that you'd be putting on them. Dee Dee says, where's immigration in all of this? Miss Jones says they had a shooting where they almost killed my son. Oh gosh. And 2 other people. Nothing is being done to find the shooters. Which shooting is this, Miss Joan? Are you referring to the one that happened Tuesday this week or a previous one? Mass Express says, oh yeah, they'll pick up a Caymanian now and send them straight to court. No bail, straight northward. What a hot mess. I can only imagine how many couples have done this and get away with it, says Gabby. Like I said, I'm aware of at least 5 other bigamy cases that are active right now with RCIPS. That's 5 that they know about. I'm sure there's more that they don't. In fact, I'm going to now make a recommendation. You think we can get France on the line this morning? Because he's responsible for these sorts of things. So let me see if I can call him. Because I'm going to make a recommendation on how to stop this, especially from the Filipino connections, how to stop these fraudulent situations from happening. It is so easy to stop. That's the part that has my brain kind of puzzled. Faded Mary Jean says there was a time when all Caymanians had to do was send their passports to the post to get their visa stamp. Shaking my head. Cayman does not have a good rep with the states anymore. Oh, definitely not. And in fact, you know, we keep begging Deputy Governor and others, talk to the U.S. about getting an embassy here. It's these types of situations why the U.S. can be like, get an embassy there and y'all can't even deal with crooks under your own little 80,000 people. Why are we going to put an embassy there? No, sir. So let me tell you this. In the Philippines, in order to get a passport, we said this yesterday, but I want to stress the point to make sure everybody is on board. The document that was supplied to us, this what's it called? Hold on. Let me get the name of it now. Hold on. Let me get the proper name. Basically, it's a certificate of no marriage, right? That you can obtain. And it's very, very easy to get that because people get it for passports and other stuff. Because somebody's like, oh, how do we know if their documents are up to date in their database? The Senamore, certificate of no marriage. which attests to her not being married in the Philippines. That is required for them to get a passport. We should require it for them to get a marriage certificate that is issued in the Cayman Islands. That got cut it off right then. Unless they falsify the document, and you got to make sure it's an original with the original seal. And guess what? You can also contact their office and verify it. So if our government has to do a little bit more work before issuing marriage certificates in this jurisdiction, I suggest they do so. I'm not saying putting the burden on the marriage officers. I don't know who's going to do it, whether it's going to be the marriage, the gender registry or whoever. But yes, get the Cinnamore. Mm-hmm. Get it together now. Because there's no way that this woman who was lying through her teeth yesterday in the show would have been able to produce one. She's never even applied to have her marriage annulled. I must tell you, her and the boyfriend now are going to be on the run. My sources telling me they both didn't show up to work today. Well, he bartender, so he probably not going to work until later. This person says, yes, it's easy. Have them produce a certificate of no marriage from their home country. Exactly. And verify it. We do have a small marriage tourism here. People actually plan to come and get married. So her running away from abuse justifies breaking the law. Rough seas, you're stupid AF, says this person. Yikes. I just watched a documentary. Another person says, I just watched a documentary last week on BBC where the Philippines are so much into child sex trafficking. Oh, God, don't get me started on that conversation. Sandy, the government can't stop expats from marrying. All this is under human rights, just like the law has to prove it's a marriage of convenience. Yes, the sex trafficking thing in Asia and all over the world, in fact, is very, very big. Big business, and it's disgusting. This person says, morning, Sandy. I hope the government will change the work permit law to close a loophole in respect of this marriage issue. Well, there's not really a loophole there. They just need to enforce the law. Somebody else says she would have called back if she wasn't guilty. The reason why annulment costs a lot in the Philippines is because of red tape. They'll have to do a lot of court hearings and paperwork, lawyers' fees, and time. It takes approximately 10 years, especially for a Filipino overseas, who would have to do the hearing via WebEx. Hot mess. In the Philippines, they don't want you to get divorced, child. That's why you better be careful getting married. Yep. All right. CBC, put a stop notice in place because she getting on that plane. Talk about the Caymanian woman taking advantage of good Jamaican and other men. Let's talk about, honey. Here, my Jamaican friend. So let's talk about these Caymanian women taking advantage of good Jamaican and other men. Yes, sir. That's another show, Bobo. We're going to need time for that one. Lord have mercy. What a hot mess. Ay. No, sir. I can't make this up. So the Popo needs to put a request intel here to put a no fly on those two people from yesterday because Jamaica flight and British flights will be going out with them. Yes. Hopefully they're paying attention. Okay. All right. Just going through some comments. Hey, Sandy. Okay. Yes. Okay. All right, honey chill. All right. It's yes. All right. All we can do is one scam at a time. No overtime today. Y'all need to get to work. Cha. We got time, says Cameron. Let's hear it. Miss Juliet says, kiss my teeth. Leroy having a good laugh. They abuse it under the name of human rights. So alien-like. Say something that people are going to be mad about, but I don't know. Human rights should be out the door the minute they decide to commit crimes, because what human rights do you think about when committing a crime? Mm-hmm. Cameron says human rights is on a match. Listen, I mean, I'm all for human rights, but there has to be a balance. Damien says resumes, degrees, qualifications, and work references should be notarized from that country as proof when a work permit is, oh, honey child. Damien, y'all forget so easily. Remember the nurses that were scamming people the other day? They actually took somebody else. How they did it was they took somebody else's transcripts and put their name on it. I'm telling you, our Filipino friends, some of them are very smart, but they're using their smarts for all the wrong things. They faked their nurses' certificates. This type of thing compromises the entire profession. You can imagine? Yes, we just reported on that. So let us not forget. And employers should be obligated to make sure that they are checking, triple checking, and verifying. Somebody gives you a certificate, you call the source. Yes? Call the source and verify that this person has the certification that they claim that they have. By the way, the Nurses Council was investigating that back in May of last year. It's almost a year later. Where are their findings? You see, this is one of the issues that I continually have with so-called investigations in Cayman. We never hear the outcome. What did the Nurses Council find in relation to this? Now, let me be very clear, because in the medical profession, they were all there pointing fingers, cross-eyed in every which direction. They were even trying to say, oh, they came through Health City, Cayman Islands. I contacted Health City. Oh, they said, no, Sandy. Not us, honey child. I said, oh. HSA were the ones who caught them. And you know why HSA caught on to it? Because, listen carefully now, HSA was trying to get their accreditation. And so they've only now put procedures in place where they are checking the documentation of their people. Imagine all this time. But they did it in order to get their JCI accreditation, because that's one of the requirements. Good for JCI. So then they discovered that one that they had hired was one of the culprits, and another one who was applying to come over from Doctor's Hospital. So when I did my little digging, you know who is responsible for hiring them? Doctor's Hospital. Yep. Doctor's Hospital didn't verify nothing. And then they had the audacity to say to me, because I said, well, hold on a second now, honey Jill. Try and help me understand how this went, Bobo. You hiring nursing staff. Let me see here now. Nursing, Doctor's Hospital. Let me try and find the email. And you're not verifying their credentials? You know what they had the audacity to say to me? Oh, well, you know, we rely on other people to do it. They're certified through the Nursing Council, the nurses and doctors, whatever. This is how things fall through the cracks. This is exactly what happens. So May of last year, I emailed them and they say, let me see what Margot McCree came back with. Thank you for your patience in getting back to, and me getting back to you. I am sure that you know that an individual is currently having credentials examined. That's why we reached out to you, Margot. Stay with the times now. Verification of credentials and licensing to work in the Cayman Islands is handled by the Health Practice Commission through its various subcommittees and councils. Medical through the Medical and Dental Council, and nursing through the Nursing and Midwifery Council, the NMC. All organizations rely on the council's very robust processes, clearly not robust if we had fake nurses here, to ensure only individuals adequately qualified are granted licenses to practice in the Cayman Islands. It's not robust if people who don't have the certification got through. That's a very example of the opposite of robust. Okay. So she goes on and blah, 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 a whole lot of nothing. What she's basically saying is we relied on the government agencies to do it. So go talk to them. No, you can do it yourself. And to give your patients confidence in you that you know what you're doing, maybe you should have done it. I'm just saying. This is typical of Cayman. Everybody else looking to the next person. No, that's their job. WRC, no, that's the police job. The police like, somebody else's job. Too much passing of the buck. And things are just falling through the crack. Siobhan Barry asking the question. I want to know when government, RCIPS, WRC, when are they going to get off their butts and actually do their job? This country is in serious trouble and going to ruins, and nobody's giving a damn and doing a darn thing about it. Angel says they have friends they can say, oh, yes, this person worked for me from XYZ, so that'll be kind of hard. The only thing is to let them do a test here. Well, the qualifications have to be scrutinized, and there should be a period of we need to make sure this person can do what they claim that they can do. Mal Powery on Instagram says they are said to be from some district within the Cayman Islands. And then these foreign nationals are so very offensive when their nationality is being posted. Well, I mean, I don't know why they're getting offended because we do it for Caymanians too. But I get what you're saying when the police report comes in. A man from West Bay, and you're like, he not know West Bay. Sandy, you make sure you tell him. He not know Bay. He a Jamaican. I'm like, okay. Or if he from Honduras, child. One of them Honduras. Mixed up people. What a hot mess. Rough Seas sounds like you salty about that divorce. Natasha says, why are Caymanians shocked by the behavior of Asian permit holders? The biggest and profitable counterfeiters are from Asia, including the major fentanyl dealers. Like I said, good and bad all over the world, honey child. Good and bad all over the world. You just gotta be on your P's and Q's. So Amjad in the comment section says, in the capital of Manila, there are stores that give you bachelor's degrees or master's degrees or any other document you need, even passports, all these fake documents, they look like originals. They're not the only place in the world, but I wouldn't doubt it. It reminds me, oh my goodness. Where's Romelia's son? Romelia, where's Romeo? Is Romeo in the comment section today? I'm going to tell you all a story. Gather around, children. Come a little bit closer to the teacher now. When I had my business in West Bay, oh God, as a business owner, sometimes you make certain mistakes with your budget and things that you purchase. So Micromatrix was a small business center. And I spent an exorbitant amount of money bringing in this nice, for back in those days, color, laser, photocopier, machine, printer, everything all in one. Ugh. I regretted it from a financial perspective and otherwise. Waste of money, really and truly. But anyway, at the time I was like, yes, small business center should have a good machine. People can print and da-da-da. You know what I discovered in the audacity of the person? I couldn't believe the person's nerves, Happens to be a Filipina. Take it. I'm just telling you all the story. She was taking her friend's certificate. I don't know what kind of certificate it was. Had her name cut out on a piece of paper. This is how the scam went. So she printed off her name and cut it out on a piece of paper like this. Then she cut that out and she then take this lay it on the other piece. So let me fold it now to show you how it would look. Put the original document down with the certificate, the piece with just her name going over the section that just has the name like this, lay it on the photocopier and then photocopying it, right? Making sure there's no lines here, everything looked good to show that her name was on that certificate. The woman had the nerve to ask me to come and help her with the photocopier while she was fraudulently creating a certificate for herself. I was like, who you call? Are you? I said, ma'am, come off my photocopier. Come out my shop. Are you people crazy? And this was a long time ago. When I first opened Micromatrix, that was right before Ivan, 2003, I think. So this was a long time ago, and that's what they were doing there with my fancy multi-$1,000 machine. I was like, what the hell? I did invest in this machine for y'all to come here and defraud our government. Get out of my shop. You can imagine. I mean, even then, me of all people, I mean, they didn't know me, I guess, right? But I'm the person that you think is going to help you defraud my own government? I was like, but geez, peace. Y'all crazy. No, sir. The nerve. The nerve. El Rey in the house. Good morning, sir. He says robust means rob us. Yes, sir. Where does the buck stop, says Cameron. I think this is a very good question, actually. The buck stops with all of us. Each and every one of us has to take accountability. Folks, when you see wrongdoing, do not sit back and say nothing and do nothing. And it really doesn't matter which law is being broken. Let me be very clear. Some of y'all have a sliding scale. Oh, but Sandy, they can park in handicap. No. Let us be about being lawful and compliant people. You know you're not supposed to park in handicap spots. You know you're not supposed to steal from your employer. You know you're not supposed to defraud the people renting from you or defraud your landlords. Respect good and decent behavior. Respect the laws of this country. They are in place for a reason. Stop scamming people, right? You think, oh yeah, I can scam them. It's just $5 here and there. Some of these people go on jobs. They steal quarters from people. I'm like, don't do that. That's not right. Let me tell y'all something. When you're dishonest or when you're honest, it shows. The other day, you guys know I'm managing some Airbnbs, right? I went into the Airbnb and the person, I didn't like the fact that they wrote on my little sign, but anyway, they took the remote control sign and they wrote on the back on it, they said, thank you. And they left a little $20 tip, right? So I went in before my cleaning crew. I'm going to call it a cleaning crew. Cleaning crew of mostly one, but anyway. And I picked it up and I read the thank you note. And I said, oh, this is nice. They left a tip. I put it right back on the bed. You know, a dishonest person managing an Airbnb would take that tip and put it in their pocket. It's not for me. I know the intent is a tip for the people who actually gonna go back now and do the work of the cleaning. So I put the money and the little note right back on the bed. I said, oh, that was nice of them. I'm not gonna pocket the $20 that can go to help somebody else who actually needs it way more than me. Listen to me. It's as simple as this. You're either dishonest or you're not. You can't pick and choose when you're going to be a good person, when you're going to be an honest person, and when you're going to be a dishonest person. Oh, it's just a little white lie. Those are lies too. So the buck stops, to answer your question, with each and every one of us getting up every single day and committing to doing the right thing, committing to being the best versions of ourselves, being the best Caymanians, being proud Caymanians. Yes? That can elevate ourselves and go anywhere in the world and stand proud and be honest. That is what we should be about. I am sick and tired of Caymanians being the problem themselves. Seriously. All right. Let's just step up to the plate and just do what we need to do. That's where the buck stops. It stops with you. Look at yourself in the mirror. Too many Caymanians not paying people. They're not doing the right thing. And I tell you what, when our people do the right thing, we need to celebrate them. And so I want to spend the last few minutes of today's program highlighting the people that do the right thing. So congratulations to this young lady here. Let me get her picture now. I need to look up her name because, again, you know, be proud. When our people are making achievements, we should be the first ones singing off the rooftops, doing backflips in their honor. So this young lady, let me get her name now. She's the managing partner, the first Caymanian managing partner at KPMG. Kudos to you, young lady. This is a phenomenal achievement. Somebody else said, oh, she's not the first Caymanian. They said that it was, let me see here now. They said, oh, no, she's not the first Caymanian. Somebody else had it before her. No. Like I said, don't try to take away, give Caesar what is due to Caesar. Give Caymanians who are working hard what is due to them. I think the person was confusing because somebody else, another female, had become is this KPMG? Hold on. Which firm is it that she's with? Hold on. Let me grab it. 1 second. Let me look for the link. I think it's KPMG. One of them accounting firms, honey child. Anyway, I said, no. Hold on a second now. Because somebody said, oh, Sandy, this person sent in this comment to saying she's not the first. I said, they need to read is what they need to do. Because what the article said is that she is the first, I'm trying to find the story now. She is the first Caymanian managing director. Capiche? I never said she's the first Caymanian partner. There's a difference. And so to be very, very clear, let me be crystal clear, a managing director is higher up the totem pole of partners than just a regular partner. So yes, it's, I guess, a big deal to become the first Caymanian partner. But to be the first female managing partner is a different cup of tea. That means that you're managing all the partners. You're the top dog, honey child. So effective October the 1st, this Caymanian, Wanda Melanio, is going to succeed Andrew Stepanek as managing partner at KPMG. Hey, Andrew. Good morning to Andrew. I know Andrew. Morning, caller.
Good morning, Sunday. It never ceased to amaze me here in Cayman. We should be the biggest gossip column in the world. When good, positive things like the young lady that is now managing partner of whatever.
Yes, October 1st, she'll be taking over from Mr. Andrew. Yes.
Nobody even puts a comment on that. But yet, every little bit of gossip, people love. It's like a fester and a sore. You know, it never ceased to amaze me why people will not make any comments, say positive things about this lady.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what? I want to say this because I like to put things in context.
Sandy, you can call my name. This is Dexter.
Yes, Mr. Dexter. She did have some 759 people just on Facebook alone. Because y'all know I believe in numbers now, and I believe in stats. She did have a large number of people, 156 comments, and 759 people like the posts. And I haven't checked how many on Instagram, but probably at least that many on Instagram. So to be clear, there are people supporting her. But there's always that 1-2 person. No, she's not a first, honey child. Well, congratulations to Wanda. I don't know who Wanda is, but she's a beautiful Caymanian young lady. Here is the number of people who've seen that post on Facebook. It's over 20,000 people, and a bunch of you liked it. If you know Wanda, give her a pat on the back. Say congratulations, Wanda. We're proud of you. So somebody else says, wasn't Novelette Gordon, and this is a question that we got. Novelette Gordon was not a managing partner. So I just want to clarify that there is a difference between the two. There's a difference between a partner. So yes, Novelette, congratulations. She was the first partner, Caymanian female partner. She was not a managing partner. The managing partner is top of the top of the partners. So there is a difference between the two, to be clear. Okay? So this young lady here is the first managing. So she's been working now with co-managing partner, Mr. Andrew, and he retires. He's retiring already in September of 2024. And then she'll take over October the 1st. So she's basically training with him. So good for her. Oh, she's been there for over 25 years. Wow. She looks so nice and young and fresh. Yes, sir. So she's going to be the 6th managing partner at KPMG since the firm's inception in 1966. And she says that I'm honored to have been selected by my fellow partners as the new managing partner at KPMG LLP. And I'm looking forward to leading her firm as we take the next step in our journey. All right. So yes, other women might have been there and they might have gotten partnership, but not a one of them had gotten managing partner. That is a different cup of tea, honey child. That is top of the top of the top, la creme de creme. Yeah. Congratulations, Wanda. Like I said, honey child, I don't know you, but as a Caymanian, you make me proud, honey child. All right. Love it, love it, love it. Good girl. Good young lady. Well, she might not be that young because she's been in 25 years. But anyway, I'll call you young, honey child. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. That's it. Yes. Good for her. Keep on keeping on, honey child. Yes. Call the source or call CMR. Sandy will get it straight, says Marshall. What a hot mess. Cameron says RCIPS even hired an FRU officer that was being investigated for murder. So anything is definitely possible around. Yeah. Lord Jesus, take the wheel. Integrity and respect does wonders, says Cameron. Johan says, how come you don't address fronting in Cayman when it is overdue and more prevalent than bigamy and scam marriages? I'm pretty sure that we have talked about it before, Johan, but you know anybody personally you want to tell us about? Honey child. We're off radio now. Let me disconnect that feed because then I can just read your full comments instead of trying to be so PC. Siobhan says, exactly. You're either a good person or you're a piece of shit. Straight up. A lot of people is a POS in sheep's clothing, pretending to be good people, and they ain't. Cameron says, now you're talking to things. More people need to apply this to their lives, says Siobhan. Johan says, fronting involves high society Caymanians and their partners. It involves everybody, and we've talked about it on all levels. Just FYI, Johan. They don't look like Pinots or Jamaicans. It's easy to call out some poor and crafty people. Let's go fishing and expose the big ones in society. Send your evidence in, Johan. If you know who they are, send the evidence. Because as you can see, we expose people with evidence. Shaka Zulu says, Judith Douglas, little sister, by the way. You know, somebody said this to me yesterday, and I guess I shouldn't be surprised because, boy, I tell you, in Caymanian families, honey child, this is what you call a mix-up and a mix-up and a mix-up. Within the same families, I don't know if they both had the same mother and father. I think somebody said they had the same mother. You can have a situation like this where children grow up, sometimes even in the same household. I mean, look at me and some of the people that supposedly family to me. And I guess, I totally understand how it can happen. Anywho, yes, people come from the same stock, but yet they're like chip and chalk, and they just different. They just built completely differently. So, yes, okay, she's Judith's sister. We not gonna hold that against her. Congratulations to her. What a hot mess, honey child. It goes to show you, chalk and cheese. What did I say? Chalk and what? Chalk and cheese. Thank you. It just goes to show you that really and truly, folks, Belinda Francis' younger sister. Okay. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting that Benita Francis is also related to that family, kind of biggish. Yeah, I keep forgetting that she related to Molly Ann too, aka Judith Douglas. But anyway, it just goes to show you, folks, this is a takeaway here as well in all of this hot mess of a situation, is don't let where you come from determine where you're going. Okay? Hold your head high. Even when you have siblings that not no good, that out in these streets being the messiest that they could possibly be, you don't have to be anything like them. You can choose your own path. You can be different. Don't let your name or who your mama is or who your papa is, don't let that dictate a negative outcome for you. Yeah? Hold your head high and do what you need to do. So Carla says Cindy is the first female managing partner of Deloitte. Well, this is not Deloitte. We're talking about KPMG. So the story is about KPMG, not Deloitte. So good that Deloitte has had one. They all need to have managing partners that are Caymanians and women, as far as I'm concerned. Shaka Zulu says great achievement for this Caymanian. Tiana, good morning, says typical Caymanians mentality. Hashtag crabs in a bucket. Be happy for your fellow man or woman of your country and congratulate them. I think they were trying to set the record straight because they're like, no, she's not the first, but they were actually wrong. She is the first. Like I said, pay attention. It says managing partner at KPMG. Sharon Smith. Now Sharon, what his last name is again? Politician Pearson was the first female managing partner at Maples and Calder. A lot of y'all didn't know that. There's a difference between being just a partner and being the managing partner. All right. I think we got it straight now. So yeah, don't let where you come from dictate, because I know Caymanians love to do that too. That's part of her, as Tiana said, part of her crab in the bucket mentality. Oh, but she's not going nowhere. Look at who her mama is. Her mama been walking up and down the streets begging people, and she had drugged this and that. Girl and boys, y'all can lift your head above all that foolishness. You can work hard, you can study, and you can become somebody that's honest and decent and a good person. Those are the most important things. The most important thing in the world isn't becoming a managing partner if you're not a good person. I'm just saying, right? You're a good person and you work hard, and in your profession, you'll get places. So let's make sure that we prioritize what's important. And I'm very proud of this young lady, Wanda. Like I said, I don't know her, but I'm still proud of her. Philip says, so proud of Wanda. So great to see Caymanian women breaking through those glass ceilings. Child, them ceilings not glass. Philip, they made out of concrete, reinforced with something else, then the glass. That's what it do to Caymanians. And still, and still we rise. Congratulations, Wanda. He says Cayman should be proud of her achievements and celebrate her. I absolutely agree. Wanda, tell me when the party's there. I'll come. When you having the celebratory party? Damien says, what's he talking about? She got over 600 likes and comments. That's why I shared that, because he probably didn't see social media. And as I always say, let me check what Instagram was doing. Like I always say, keep things in context, right? Because you're always going to have 1-2 people like, oh no, Sandy, I don't pay them no mind. Because the majority, that's same thing here on CMR. I don't pay them fools no mind who complain about CMR. I said, what y'all complaining about? The majority of people understand what a wonderful job CMR is out here doing. Yes, we got to hold you accountable. So, I mean, if you don't like to be held accountable, well, I feel sorry for you. But on Instagram, she got 809, no, it's 817, 819, 819. I see you, Dr. Sydney, liking it. Yes, sir. 819 likes as well. So yes, this one trending very, very, very good. So yes, people are very happy for her. Congratulate her, like I said. CC says Johan mocks him. So you're saying that Roy is a female? Because he said that Roy was the first managing partner. Okay. I don't even know why he brought that up. But anyway, congratulations, ma'am, to you and your achievement, says Tiana. Thank you very much. Wow, that's awesome to hear. Cayman young woman, says Miss Sue. RMR says, sadly, Cayman has become home to too many fraudulent people. And as Caymanians, we have normalized the behavior by turning a blind eye and not speaking up. And to be very clear, RMR, we also have enough fraudulent people that are Caymanians, born, bred, raised, in the whole 9 yards. Rush C says, I just got a call from some scammer claiming that they were bank security. Oh, Lord, no, sir. They trying you while you listening to the show? Shaka Zulu says, just showing the contrast in Molly/Judith having no excuse for her behavior. Well, I mean, I don't know what, like I said, to me, it's so interesting that you can have siblings grow up in the same home and they're exposed to the same environment, the same parents, and they end up on very different paths. So Molly Ann claims that she was abused and her abuser introduced her to gambling and she became a gambling addict, and that fuels her desire to steal from people. I'm like, listen, none of that makes any sense to me, right? If you want to gamble, you must work for it. Don't be a dishonest thief on top of being a gambler. I mean, that don't make no sense. That's like if you want to have a good highlight. Listen, I don't begrudge nobody. Look at Johan. Johan driving his nice car. He live in a nice, beautiful, big house. He got a pool in the background, gated community, eating my brownies on the DL, all this wonderful stuff. I'm happy for Johan. He is a Caymanian. He's out there working hard. He's doing his thing. I don't begrudge no Caymanian, right? They want to elevate themselves. You want to drive the biggest car in the block? Y'all still driving Hummers? Anybody got into them around those gas guzzlers? I don't think y'all into them no more. But you know, Caymanians love nice things. I'm feeling the life. I'm all about nice things. Good. You know what I want to drop if I win the lottery, what I'm going to go buy? I'm going to go buy one of those Lucid cars, honey child, because the last time I was in Miami, not this last trip, but last year, I was in Miami and I passed by the dealership. Ooh, them cars are nice. I mean, I saw it in a window in a display down in that fancy neighborhood there in Miami. What a fancy neighborhood where a little friend was down there pretending like he's somebody. What his name is? Mario. Brickle. Yes, they have a I even took a car of it. A picture of it. I was like, oh my God, this car is beautiful. I mean, I just know beauty by looking at it, but I don't know what's underneath the engine. So they have a showroom in Brickell City Center. And we were there at that mall because I was going to the Apple store for somebody. And I was like, oh my God, that car is pretty. I took a picture of it and I sent it to my husband. I'm like, honey, child, what car is this? Hold on, I can show y'all my iCloud picture. So y'all know I don't be lying now. I took a picture. I was like, yo, what is this? And he said, oh, where'd you see that? And I said, there's this dealership here. He's like, oh yeah, that nice car. When was I in Brickell? Hold on. When were we there? I can't remember now. Anyway, the best way to look at it is to check my messages with Marlon. Because I sent him, I was like, babe, look at this car. He's like, yeah, that's a Lucid. I said, who? I said, all I know is that car is pretty. And he's like, yeah. And guess what? They're also EVs, electronic vehicles. I was like, what? Hold on. Let me see if I can show y'all the picture. Oh my gosh, I got so many messages with my husband. What a mess. When was that trip? That was last year. Oh Lord. It was a girls' trip. I do remember that. He wasn't there. It was last year before October. Yeah, I remember sending it to him. I'm like, oh God, this even prettier than the Tesla. Put the Tesla on the back burner. He's like, oh yes, here it is. No, this is when we were at the Ferrari store. Never mind, not that one. So yeah, I mean, my point is, listen, we all have different things that we like. I mean, I like a pretty car too, and whatever. Just work hard for it. I don't give two shits. You can have every car in the world. Just don't steal from people and work for what you got. It's as simple as that. Let me see. Is this it? Nope. Hold on. Was this the trip? No. When did I go to Miami again, child? I can't remember. Oh, honey, child. One time last year. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this car is gorgeous. Child. I can't even find the car now. Anyway, let me just tell you, go look them up. They're actually beautiful cars. That's gonna be my next EV that I'm going to purchase. But I'm gonna work for it. I'm not gonna go out there and steal from nobody. I'm not gonna con anybody. I'm gonna, in fact, I'm not even going to the bank. I'm gonna save up my money. I have it in the back of my head. I'm like, yep, that's gonna be the next EV. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna start saving money from now. Putting out $5 each month, and eventually I'll get there. Oh man, I know I have the picture now. You know, I know it. Hold on, let me see. When the heck was I in Miami? Oh man, I can't even remember. Anyway, they have a showcase there, and the car is in the showcase. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous car. I was like, man, and it looks like it's fast too, you know. Look like it got a little power behind it. I was like, I see that. Is this? You know what? I should be able to find this so easily because I'm gonna tell you the truth. That mall had some very interesting features to it. Anyway, when I find it, I'll let you guys know. But man, they're beautiful. I think one or two people in Cayman actually has one. I know one person who does have one. And yeah, boy, they poured it bad. Yes, honey child. Oh man, I can't remember. I cannot remember when. Anyway, the car pretty, okay? Brickell. Let me see if I can search. Brickell City Center. Oh, here we go. Oh, that was the one that I saw. Oh yeah. Hold on. Let me show y'all this one. This is not one that I would buy, but this is like the kind of like the sports one here. I think this one is really just to show you kind of like what's under the engine and whatever. But you know what I'm saying? Listen, Caymanians, some of y'all multimillionaires, some of y'all probably close to billionaire status. I'm like, go live your best life. I love it. I love to see Caymanians doing what they got to do. You know what I'm saying? Yes, make it work, honey child. Yeah, so the place is called Air, the Lucid dealership. And I mean, even you can tell when certain cars are quality now, because even the dealership looks different. The dealership is like, they're not a run-of-the-mill something. They're like, ooh, honey child. You can't just be walking in there talking about, oh, I'll take that for a test drive. They'd be like, who you is? Put down that gold or black American Express, honey, and then you can drive it. So I was walking by this dealership. Let me show it to you. And I was like, wow, this looks nice. And so I sent it to Marlon. I'm like, Marlon, who the heck is Lucid? And he was like, girl, They're the ones if you want an electronic vehicle now. That's the real top of the line. I was like, really, honey child? Look at me salivating over cars. I bet y'all didn't even know. Y'all like, oh, Sandy, we never know you like a little ride. Here it is. These two. Look at this. Look at this. Hold on here now. Look at that. Look at that. Yes, unrivaled electric vehicle technology. They're showing you like the base of the car, you know. Jeez, peace. Look at them wheels. Honey, child, that's a real proper car right there. Y'all don't think these EVs are no joke. This is the dealership right next to the mall. Man, they're nice. They're nice cars. I don't even know how much they go for, but I imagine it's probably a pretty penny. I didn't inquire because I know I can't afford it. That's okay. Can't afford it now, but $5 a month, eventually we might get there. Yes, sir. I gotta show y'all a few more pictures of these cars. They're oh my gosh, they just quality. You can see the quality build in these, right? I'm like, ooh, honey, talk to me. Look at it. Hold on, I gotta show y'all two more, and then we can stop salivating over cars. Good morning, honey child. Look at this one. Ooh, nice. Y'all see what I'm seeing? Y'all see the niceness? No, sir. So they're beautiful. They're absolutely gorgeous. One day, that's like dream status. Yep, we're not there. And we may never get there. So whatever, my point really is whatever goals you want in life, just do it. In a business. I'm only a business and you will only be featured on CMR when you do it the wrong way. Okay? That's the problem. All right. Pressure bust pipe. Okay. Let me see what else y'all going on with. Cameron just said he must have the keys to the city and Dade by now. No, sir. Man, I want them keys. Gabby says, is that a new car company? I don't kind of think so. They just opened a 23,000 square foot location at Miami World Center in Florida. I don't even know where the hell Miami World Center is, but their showrooms are like, I'm going to show you another one. Their showrooms are a work of art. I mean, the showrooms themselves are like amazingly designed. Hold on. Let me show y'all, honey child. Oh my God, the interior of this car. Sweet. Nice. Work for what you want in life, honey child. That's what Aunt Lottie always used to say. She said, Sandy, if you only got one underwear, you make sure it clean every day. If you got to reuse it, you clean it, you wash it, and you just go about your business. Nobody not got to know your business. You just work hard. And I said, okay, Auntie. Look, here's another one. Yeah. Look at that. Nice, huh? Yes, sir. They're gorgeous. Look at their showroom. Look at this. This is a showroom. I mean, look at that. So you can actually sit in those seats and have a driving experience, like a virtual driving experience in the showroom. Because not in everybody, they're not making you drive that car at the showroom. I'm just saying. If you can't afford it, you can't drive it at the showroom. Now, how they're going to be looking at it. Damien says they're about 100K landed. I think they're probably a little bit more than that. There's a white one here. Yes, you know who has one? Matthew White. Wright. What is their last name? White or Wright? Wright. Matthew Wright has one, but I don't think his is white. I don't know what color his is actually. But they're beautiful. So yeah, they're nice. $5 a month. That take you a long time. Don't worry, Everton. Don't set your hat higher than you can reach now, you know. Take your time. But yeah, the finest engineering in electric vehicles. El Rey says Lucid is now compared to the other car major manufacturers. Like which ones? Shaka Zulu says they're a newer company than Tesla, by the way. I think they made one model so far. I don't know. All I know is they poured it. Mm-hmm. Oh, Damaris says, I saw that car in the car show on Monday. We had a car show here? Oh. Y'all don't invite me to these things, so I don't even know what's going on. But yeah, they're very nice. I haven't been in one. I didn't even go in the showroom, to be honest, because I was like, yeah, I got kind of money. But I mean, they look very luxurious. So maybe the next time I go to Miami, just for fun, I'll go in the showroom and sit in one. I don't know, boy. Like I said, they might be asking you for for your Black MasterCard or whatever the heck it is, and I ain't got one of them. Black American Express. I'd be like, sorry. All right. Alejandro says the one here is starting to look ugly after I see it so often. I've only seen it once. How you seen it so often? I'm just wondering. Miss one payment and that car is powered by remote control. It'll drive right back to the dealer, says Rough Seas. Oh, New York car show. Okay, cool. Well, I tell you what, if you bring it to Cayman, you know you got paid. You got to bring it here fully paid, so you're not got to worry about that. You're not driving in the ocean to go anywhere. Shaka Zulu says Lucid to Tesla is what Rolls Royce is to Chevy. Yes, sir. Love it. Anywho, point being, live your best life. Just be honest and legit with it. You know, people can have nice things and get it honestly. There's no reason to lie in marriage certificates, defrauding people. Just be good people. Is it hard? Is it that hard? I don't know. Y'all be getting me all kind of confused when I see what the foolishness y'all be doing. Anyway, good people. Tomorrow is Friday. So don't forget, go out to the event this evening. Support the renaming of the College of Nursing at UCCI. By the way, let me show y'all a picture from the beach. Y'all ready to see Sandy at the beach? Everybody ready? Kaboom! I want to do a shout out to the beach vendors. I went there. I haven't been to Public Beach in a minute. So I went there and they said, oh, would you like to rent a umbrella and thing? And I was like, oh man, I ain't got no money. Because y'all know I don't walk with cash. So I'm like, nope, I ain't got no money. And one of the ladies there, she's the real boss. She told the young man, hey, this is Sandy. You put some respect to her. Just give her that chair over there with the umbrella. And I was like, aw. I said, thank you. She says, you're welcome, honey child. Happy Easter. This was on Sunday. And so she hooked me up with the umbrella and the lawn chairs. I like it, man. I was able to sit down and take a little nap and relax. And look at me. I'm sitting there napping and relaxing and getting sun. And this was the part of the leg that didn't get any sun because I had my shorts on. And the other part that got direct sun. And Sandy got a tan on her legs at the beach. What a ting. Yes, sir. So that's me. Mm-hmm. Getting my tan on. Wear sunscreen, folks. Wear sunscreen. All right. Alejandro says, not even try and get an even tan line. But that's where the shorts were. I had on shorts. So, you know, whatever. Those are two crayon colors, says Evelyn. Showing your true colors there, says Cameron. Yes, sir. I tell you what. Anyway, folks, Shaka Zulu says congratulations again to Wanda Bush. Was she a Bush first and then a Melania? All right. Go on through, honey child. Which of the Melanias is she married to? Sorry. I know there's a few of them here. Mm-hmm. A few brothers. All right, good folks. I think that's all she wrote for today. Tomorrow is another day. So y'all have a good day. And of course, I want to what tomorrow is Friday? Yep, we'll have a good show tomorrow. Sean. Okay, I don't think I know that brother. All right, I know Andrew, and there's another one that works CUC. Which one works CUC? I can't remember. Anyway, big shout out to them. Tomorrow is going to be a really busy day for me. Dwayne is her husband. Dwayne. Do I know Dwayne? Anyway, tomorrow's a big day. We got a lot going on, so make sure you tune in early. And tomorrow is also my day. Hopefully nothing messes up my vibe. Tomorrow is also my prep day for my colonoscopy. So I think it's afternoon that I start prepping and drinking whatever to clean out the colon, which means don't invite me to nothing in the afternoon. I will be home sitting very close to the toilet. I'm sure of that. I'll tell y'all how the colonoscopy goes and everything and keep y'all updated. All right. Get your colonoscopy done. Don't be afraid to do it. You won't remember anything is what I'm told. So after it's done, I will tell you all how it all went. Okay. All right, honey, chill. That's it. All right. Y'all be good. Yes. Whoop, whoop. See y'all tomorrow morning.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online on our social media channels and visit CaymanMarlRoad.com for all the latest news and community happenings.